Well, happy Friday, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Great to be here with you. Let's get our heads right on a Friday. Now, if you're a Ben and Woods listener, you're a fan of us, or if you hate listen, that's fine too. You better drink it in today, because it's going to be a minute till you hear your pals again, because we're going to be off all next week. What's the date we come back on the air? Will be
7th.
July 7th. Man, we're going to miss you guys, and hopefully you miss us too. But sometimes you got to go away for a while to let people know, man, I really miss those guys. I miss my morning routine. And hopefully we are a part of your morning routine. But yeah, we're splitting after the show today. We're going to leave on Sunday, heading out to Philly, go watch the Pods and have a great time, do a little show bonding together. And it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Really excited about it. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Good morning to you, Benjamin.
Good. And news anchor last night. I
yes.
will.
All right, I'm going to start weaving it in.
Thank you.
Your friendly neighborhood news and sports anchor. Now you need to change the tag.
I do want to tell everybody that we're sorry that we're leaving you. We know a lot of you rely on us in the morning, but it could be worse. I saw yesterday that Scott Van Pelt did his Sports Center for ESPN after the second round of the NBA draft.
Yep.
And then signed off until August 26th.
Lucky.
So I'll be back for football season later. Summertime. Let's go.
Bastard, man.
Now that is a premium schedule.
I like to listen to the Howard Stern show during the week when he is on, which is only 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I think they just had their summer sign off. They'll be back like after Labor Day.
I mean, it's such a good gig if you can get it. If you can afford to get it. You know, as much as you love this job and how lucky we are to do it. I think Scott Van Pelt said the same thing last night. I can't believe, because they just celebrated their 10-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
And he said, I'm so lucky to do this. In fact, I'm so lucky I'm leaving for 6 weeks. So see you guys later. We're out. So we are going to be out a week.
Imagine we do like a week of shows after the World Series, and we're like, all right, we will talk to you guys from the Peoria Sports Complex in February.
We wouldn't have a job to come back to if we did that at this point. But
I'd like to get to that point in my career, to be honest with you.
We're really just taking the 4 days off. It's the holiday week.
Yeah.
You know, spend some time with your family, celebrate this good old country of ours, the US of A.
Yep.
And we'll be back on July 7th. Now, in our chat, Fred's Slots and Stuff says, sounds like a mini mart in Las Vegas. Fred's Slots and Stuff says you guys got to do a live stream at some point when you're in Philly. We are planning on doing a member live stream. So if you are one of our YouTube Gold members, keep an eye out on our channels to find out when we will be joining you from Philadelphia next week during our trip.
Got some general ideas of when we want to do it. Probably going to be after a few cocktails, and we'll have some fun doing it. Tipples.
Yeah, that's a word for cocktails.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Tipples.
If we're looking at either
also some nipples, maybe. There might be nipples involved.
Could be Monday night, could be Tuesday. We're not sure yet.
Now,
we'll do something.
It's a good time to also remind you guys to follow us on socials. You know, we're going to be constantly updating at Ben and Woods on Twitter, at Ben and Woods on Instagram. And yeah, we'll let you guys know. You'll know all of our movements. I spent the week talking about my movements, and these will be different movements, hopefully, when we get to Philadelphia, man. So we're excited, dude. The entire city awaits. We don't know what's going to happen, and I like that. It's that good feeling. In fact, we were talking about this morning. Benny sent us a text about your son, Graham, who found a place up in Washington, in Seattle, and he's moving. And I got very wistful when I read your text last night.
They still have a couple of months. He's going up in September.
Yeah.
But yeah.
She's going to work the summer, save some money.
Yeah. First child to leave the house.
Dude, I remember the day that I left for South Bend, Indiana, on my own, really. I had gone off to college. It was 6 hours away by car at Texas Tech. Came back with a robust 0.0 grade point average and worked for a year at a gas station. And then after a year of working at a gas station, realized I don't want to work at a gas station anymore. I want more. Went up to a Notre Dame game with my dad. We parked at Holy Cross College, and I said, hang on real quick. And I ran inside and I grabbed an application. I threw it in the rental car. And I said, I want to talk to you about this. He said, great. And next thing you know, we got back from the game. I made plans, and maybe a couple months later, I was up there on my own, looking at myself in the mirror for the first time at 19, going, all right, dude, this is your last shot. There's no coming back, tail between your legs. Go up there, finish school, stop being a dip ass, and do it. And man, just seeing your text just brought back all these memories, man. It was really, really crazy. Like to think about that part of life of like, all right, we're doing this. Like, I'm going to go do it, scared to death, no friends, no car, just figuring it out. And it's kind of when I became, a little more self-sufficient,
I never really left entirely.
Yeah.
I was out of town for college, but I always came back in the summers.
Of course.
And then when I was done, I was right back here in San Diego.
I mean, it's so understandable, though. My wife was the same way.
It was hard to leave.
She went to San Diego State, and she went and spent every weekend at home. Like, just drove the 20 minutes back.
I did that a lot from LA.
Yeah.
Probably, at least once or twice a month. I'd come back on the weekends. If
It's
nothing's
hard.
going on around school,
Well, it's hard
then
to
I just come back.
It's hard to live here and why would you ever want to leave? I totally understand wanting to stay, but I give him a lot of credit for
It's going to be different.
Yeah. I give him a lot of credit for wanting to go. And I really think, it's like I tell people all the time, your hometown's always going to be there. It's always going to be there. It's never going to leave. You're going to be there. You can go, you can try. I just recommend to everyone, and I do want it for my kids. I want them to go live in Chicago for 5 years, go to live in New York, go try DC, whatever. I want you to experience the world a little bit because it helps you understand, A, how much you appreciate where you're from, and B, how much world is out there, outside of your bubble. So it just brought me back to all that. It was crazy.
I mean, I know it's not feasible for everybody, but I do think it's important to prioritize like going away for college. And even if that's LA, like
even if it's
living
LA,
on your own, is invaluable at that age.
If you're 3 hours away and you need me and I'll be there, great, no problem. But
like, learn how to do your laundry, learn how to cook for yourself,
learn how to pay bills, all that stuff.
It's important. I mean, I literally lived the exact opposite of what Graham's about to go on. I came from Seattle to San Diego after living there my whole life, and
the old reverse.
Got in the car and drove down here and had to kind of figure it out. And it made a difference because when I moved into a house with some guys in college, and you could tell who came straight from their parents' house and didn't live on their own before, and who had, because they're like, I don't know how to eat and how to do laundry and like basic things around the house. They had to kind of figure it out.
Yep.
So I think it's so important. I'm super stoked for Graham, and if
I
he
am
needs
too.
any help, I got him.
Yeah, I'm so happy for him.
Speaking of learning to pay bills, so he showed me some pictures of the house that they scouted out when he went up there, and they weren't sure. They were thinking they might sell it, but if they didn't, it was going to be theirs. And they said, no, you're good to go. So
got the house.
It's like nicer than I was looking inside. This place is nice. I'm
Yeah.
going like for, three young guys. I think it's him and two of his buddies that are going to be living together. I'm going, can you afford this? And then he told me what he was paying, and go, how do you get that? I'm going, Seattle's a nice place,
Yeah, it
but
is.
Man, living in Southern California is expensive.
It is,
compared
but
to other places.
Hey man, it's like this too. I have friends and couple friends and stuff, and you can kind of tell when you get in a big group of friends and you all have kids, you're like, I give you guys 2 more years, you're out. You're gonna be here. Like me, I'm this is it. I'm never leaving ever. I found my Mecca, and for them, I'm like, oh, you'll be in, let me think. You'll be in Nashville in a year, right? You'll be in Nashville. Ooh, I see you moving to North Texas. Oh yeah. Yep. You'll be down in, maybe Austin for you. Bro, you get what you pay for. I mean, you pay a fortune to live here. Double it. It doesn't matter. Like, This is the greatest place on the planet. And in order to truly, truly, truly realize that, go live somewhere else for 6 months. Go live somewhere else for 2 years.
I mean, for me, I think my equation is I'd rather have a little less accommodations.
Yeah.
We don't have a 4,000 square foot house. I think our house is literally 1,782 square feet.
Yep.
Pretty small for, 4
Family of
adult
4,
people living inside of it. But I wouldn't give it up. I know you could
No.
for the same price. I could get like a sprawling estate in the outskirts of Dallas, probably.
Yes,
but
you could.
I'd rather live here. So
All day. I'd rather live in a tent here. I mean, really, like I don't know, man. I got very wistful. And I think also, being 22 days away from 50 years old is weird. You're going through that thing of like, oh, this is crazy. Like I'm about to be 50. And I remembered, man, it was like 30 years ago that I was like, all right, I gotta get it together, and moved up to South Bend, and then obviously ended up in Chicago for a few years, and life has certainly taken some detours, but here the last 15. And also congratulations to Paulie. Today's his anniversary of his 11th year, the start of your 11th year in radio.
It was 11 years ago today.
Start of
Yeah.
your 12th year.
Start of your
Start
12th
of my
year.
12th year. Yeah. 11 years ago today, I saw a picture pop up on my phone that I sent to somebody as I was getting out of the car.
Yeah.
First day, orientation. I was getting ready to learn about all the cool stickers and t-shirts I was about to hand out at the San Diego Fair and concerts around town. I got hired as a promotions assistant.
Yep. Me
over
too.
at the old Mighty 1090 and or the Walrus at that point.
Yeah.
1057.
That's how I started too.
Yeah.
Handing out T-shirts at Club Clearview.
I said, I don't care. I had an internship the year before during the summer, and then never heard from them until the next summer. And they were like, hey, we're hiring, and got the job. I said, look, I hope I don't have to do this for too long, but it's a foot in the door.
That's it.
Did it for 9 months.
is Club Clearview a club, a resort, or an eye clinic?
It's a club. It's a nightclub. Yeah, we had
club, I think.
we had that account. I worked for an alternative station, and I was in promotions, and they're like, all right, you got to go there from midnight to 2 and like hand out T-shirts and throw them out to the crowd. I mean, it was a good gig.
I was picturing LASIK surgery.
No. It was we will have I think, who's that? Dexter wants to know if somebody. Yeah, Braden's going to be doing mornings next week, filling in for us.
Everything's weird next week because the Padres play afternoon games on the East Coast. So like Gwen and Chris are doing middays, like 10 to 2.
Yeah,
And
so
then
everyone's just
Braden
moving up 4 hours next week. And I just want to tell all the tier ones, understand Braden is coming in.
Yep.
It's gonna be different next week. You should absolutely give him a chance, and then hold his feet to the fire. Like if you don't like everything that he does that's different than us, just absolutely hold his feet to the fire all week long.
Yeah. I mean, it is a trial. It's a trial by fire, right? When you move into a different slot.
Do the
Certainly.
Dodger fans that hate watch in our YouTube chat, will they like Braden because he's not us,
Yes.
or also hate Braden because he's talking Padres?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I have no idea.
It's a really good question.
It'll be 9 a.m. on the East Coast. We can pop into the chat.
Yeah, I
Nice,
don't know if he's just
spy.
if he's doing his show in our slot, or if he's going to try to do our show, take on Braden.
He should do his own show. He should do his own show. Yeah, you do your own show in the different slot for sure. But yeah, we wanted, look, Adam has made a really strong commitment here to staying live and local when we can. Flipping it over to national sports radio, I'm not a big fan of that either. No, listen, LeBron's legacy.
Maybe they told Toronto no thank you, but I don't think that means everyone stop calling the Bucks.
Well, I wonder too, like
Bucks.
what we've been seeing as well is that Giannis may make
NBA
this decision.
draft.
So,
There you go.
LeBron's legacy, Dallas Cowboys, that stuff can wait. You can get that on your own time. You're going to get live and local here next week. But yeah, we're pretty excited to go and have a good time in Philly.
I'm stressed though, because between today and July 7th, when we're back, there's going to be 9 Padres games. A lot can happen in
My God.
9 Padres games.
I remember
What
when
the hell are we going to walk back into on
I
Monday?
know.
I
mean,
remember-
we could walk back into a team that is, 15 games above 500,
Yeah.
cruising. We could walk back to a team that's like barely above 500, and the whole season is falling apart. My suspicion is they'll still be somewhere around, 8 to 10 games above 500 where they are right now.
It happened to me in 21 when I took Bo down to Dallas or down to Texas to see my family, and the Padres just fell off a cliff. I was gone for maybe 5 days. And I remember calling into the show, and I was like, I can't believe this. I can't believe what I'm watching every night. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But yeah, the cool thing is too, man, is like, yes, we're going on vacation, but we're also going to go hang with the fellas. We're going to be in Philadelphia. We're going to be down on the field, shooting the breeze. We're still going to have the great stories and the great content. And, I can't – let me get your ideas on this. we're going to have credentials and we're going to be down on the field. So we're able to move around the field. We can go into the Phillies dugout if we want. I have to get a picture with Kyle Schwarber. I have to. Is that frowned upon?
And I remember when you tried to get a picture with George Brett.
He was livid.
He almost killed you.
He literally almost did. He was
Kyle
so
Schwarber
mad.
could kill you a lot. George Brett at least is an old man at this point, tough old man, but Kyle Schwarber is in his prime, and he's huge.
But see, we have an in with the Phillies and Matt Strom. So
That's
if
true.
I say, Stromy, can I get a picture with Schwarber? And he maybe could set that up. Is that am I being?
I wouldn't go with
am I doing to Strom what people do to me?
People say I look like you. I was wondering if I could get a picture.
No.
I don't know that he'd take kindly to
I'm not
that.
going to do that.
Okay.
I'm not going to do that. But is it against the? It's not against the rules. I see people taking pictures down there.
I think if it's in a casual setting,
it is.
like
It will
maybe
be
on the field, and we're hanging out with like Matt Strom,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Hey, bro, can you introduce me to Kyle Schwarber?
Yes,
I'd love
yes.
to meet him." Meet Kyle Schwarber, be like, "Hey,
Quick,
real
just
quick,
do a quick
selfie,
Hey, cool.
Okay.
Maybe get Bryce Harper over there."
Yeah, maybe Bryce Harper. Maybe
Don't
Nick
bring a bunch of
Castellanos.
stuff for him to autograph.
I'm not. I
obviously.
never would get an autograph. I wouldn't.
A show picture with Nick Castellanos
would be
that'd be
clean.
elite.
It would be clean. Clean.
What if we could get Nick Castellanos and Joshua Tree John together? Probably would result in the apocalypse.
Well,
or they cancel each other out
That's
somehow.
an immovable object and an unstoppable force.
that's right. What if we could get them to kiss? I would like,
That might get you kicked off the field.
Yeah, I just really like Kyle Schwarber a lot, and my wife really likes Kyle Schwarber. He's great. Wish he was here. Wish we had him.
I think about his home run that he hit
Every
here
day.
in the 2022
Every day.
NLCS often.
every day.
That third story right field.
What? Whoa!
Where did that land? What?
Like, sorry, you. I love you. Know I love you. You.
I was sitting along the third base side, so I was looking directly, like right field was right in front of me, and just watch that ball sail, unlike any other ball I've ever seen hit at Petco Park.
We don't have any shirts either, do we? On hand. I don't think we do.
We have to check
Damn
for a
it.
commercial break.
We did not plan well for this, but yeah. So listen, station will be covered while we're gone. We're going to be putting out a ton of content while we're there. We've got a live stream. Good time to join the member stream. I think it's $10, and you get a live stream every month.
Cancel anytime.
Cancel anytime,
Or not.
or don't, or maybe just do it $20. Whatever you guys want to. But it's going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast, and we will. I promise to. Yes, yeah. Of course, we're going to make Ben climb the pole. Of course, we're going to make Ben run up the stairs at the Rocky statue. Of course, we're going to make Ben pretend that he's the one that cracked the Liberty Bell. Of course, we're going to do all that
Ben, you
stuff.
broke it.
I can't believe it.
You got to pay for that now, dude. You know how much money that is?
Ben's been planning food. I've just been planning bits that we can do with Ben when we get there. That's the only thing I care about. So I can't wait, man. But we will definitely miss you guys, and hopefully you miss us as well.
All right, so let's make the most of these last 3 hours and 40 minutes before we are off and departed for Philadelphia. We will set the menu for the program after a quick check at Kelly's traffic here. Happy Friday morning, everybody. Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
This traffic report is driven by Manny Sedano Ford in La Mesa, wishing all dads and grads a great June. Well, our Friday morning is off to a pretty good start. Can't speak for this person whose car is stalled on the Coronado Bridge, though. This is heading over to the island about mid-span. Got that right lane blocked. Also in Chula Vista, getting reports of a possible encampment fire southbound 5 past Palomar Street. Some smoke visible in the area. Dads, grads, and serious savings only at Sedano Ford in La Mesa. Get the F-150 STX Super Crew Cab for $299 a month. Or how about the Bronco Big Bend for $271 a month? For more details on these offers, visit local and veteran-owned SedanoFord.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So for the first time in 2 weeks, we do not have a game to talk about this morning. However, we still have a jam-packed show planned for you, beginning with our friend who Paul just went to get. He's going to be in studio. Clark Farrentold from Mad Friars is going to be here. We just saw Dennis Lynn in The Athletic write a story about how A.J. Preller believes that his minor league system is quite a bit better than the rankings are giving it credit for. In fact, I think what I heard is that A.J. thinks they have a top 10 system again, and that they have the capital if they want to make moves. And potentially guys that could come up and help in the second half of this season. Some wicked arms. We've been seeing videos from the Mad Friars guys of relief pitchers who've just been shoving in the minor leagues. Padres may have the at least deepest relief corps system in Major League Baseball right now. Can that help, turn the second half into other valuable assets potentially at the trade deadline? We will see, and we will talk with Clark about it coming up in just a couple minutes at the bottom of the hour.
Yeah, and Clark actually just got back from a trip going to see some of these guys throw. So he's seen them in person, can speak very well on all of it. And yeah, I mean, look, it's that time of year where you look at those guys, Ben, and you say, man, some of these guys could come up and help this team, or some of these guys could help, get us some new pieces to go out and try to win a World Series this year. So it's all on the table for the San Diego Padres.
So that's coming up in our next segment. Then in our 7 o'clock hour, right around 7:20, not only will we have our weekly conversation with our friend Darren Smith, SDFC broadcaster, coming off the enormous win on Wednesday night at Vancouver to take over first place. Darren's coming in studio, so he's going to stick around for the rest of that hour. Shoot the breeze with Darren, talk soccer, talk Padres, and more with our friend and legendary San Diego broadcaster, Darren Smith. And then at 8 o'clock, we have an early edition of the Manager's Report with Mike Schilt on a Friday. Yeah, he's in Cincinnati, so he said, let's do it an hour earlier. No problem. Just make sure you alert everybody. Don't wait until 9. He's going to join us at 8 o'clock this morning. The Manager's Report with Mike Schilt, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. So we'll talk to Schilty. Then we can get to some of our normal features in the second half after the busy first half. Last take on Woods here of the month to qualify for Las Vegas. Rindle Report. And if you were listening to the show yesterday, in honor of our trip to Philadelphia, I did agree to one day only. We're bringing back Ben Reed's Raps.
Why not?
And you've already picked something.
Oh,
I don't know
we
what
got
it is.
something real good for you. Real good.
That's probably coming up at about 9:20 this morning.
Start spinning yourself out about it now.
Fair enough.
All right. What are you more nervous for, the Mike Schilt interview or the Meek Mill rap?
At this point, still probably Mike Schilt.
Yeah, 100%. He's terrifying. I know. I'm with you.
Always just on my toes.
I was on edge.
Usually goes really well.
Yeah, it does.
Occasionally, I'm just a little nervous about it.
Still get on edge.
Yeah. So Clark's here. We're going to talk a little Mad Friars and talk about why AJ thinks his system is better than people are giving it credit for. We will do that when we come back. Ben and Woods off and running on a Friday on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, I want to tell you, good time for it. Better Buzz Coffee. Stopped by this morning on my way into work. You need to try their Summer Flings menu, available now for a limited time only. It is full of all kinds of amazing tropical twists, like the coconut best drink ever. Smooth, sweet, topped with coconut cold cream and toasted coconut flakes. Try the new food items, too, including the Blue Crush Acai Bowl. They came in earlier this week, brought all kinds of their great goodies. You can check them out. Go online to betterbuzzcoffee.com or download the app. You can order online, pick it up very quickly at so many locations now. They just opened 2 more this week, 1 more in Fashion Valley, 1 up in Oceanside. Please check the website to find a Better Buzz Coffee near you. Try the Summer Flings menu right now. Go to betterbuzzcoffee.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort with a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Had a couple of tier ones point something out that I hadn't thought of, but they're 100% right, Woods. Ray did it on our YouTube stream. Friend Doug Downing did it. Doug. The fact that we are going to be off next week almost guarantees that AJ Preller is going to make a trade. So thank us for leaving.
Garrett Crochet coming back
I'm
here.
guessing 10:04 today.
Today. That would be the ideal AJ time to make a trade. Oh, Benowitz can't talk about this for 9 days? Oh, this is the perfect time to make a deal.
Better get your ass in gear, AJ. You got 3.5 hours, buddy, to get something done.
Crossing the wire at 10:01 p.m. or a.m. this morning.
Yep.
We'll find out.
Hey, listen, we'll jump on. We'll call into the other shows, whatever we need. We got to do.
Does AJ have more capital to make that trade, though, than some people around baseball think? We're going to talk with our friend Clark Farenthold from Mad Friars about the Padres minor league system. He is in studio and standing by right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, your 15-minute drive-through oil change. Speaking of car maintenance, we got a couple of stalled vehicles. One's on the Coronado Bridge, heading over to the island about mid-span, got the right lane blocked. And on southbound 15 before Rancho Bernardo Road, stalled car taking up the slow lane. San Diego summers mean beach days, road trips, ball games. Make sure your ride's ready with Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Drive in, stay in your car, and be done in about 15 minutes. No appointment needed. For coupons, visit SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Now, if you follow Matt Friars online, you've seen Clark Farenthold's work. He has also been writing for the UT, seen that byline a few times as well, and he joins us in studio this morning. Clark, good to see you again.
Great to see y'all. Really appreciate you having me on.
Our
Looking
pleasure.
forward to talking.
Well,
yeah.
Hold on real quick. Now, we got a gift from Matt Friars. I brought it in special.
I'm glad you brought it in.
You know how hard it was for me to sit on this last night and not open a package so that I could bring it in. This is from your overlord, John Conniff. Yep.
Ever so gracious.
Ever so gracious. And we've got
Look at that.
Got for Ben Higgins. Look at this.
Polo. Now,
Polo.
I've gotten a lot of T-shirts, but I've never gotten a polo before. That one looks nice.
Yes, the El Paso Chihuahuas.
What color would you call this?
I'd call that salmon.
Salmon, I was about to say that'd probably be my call on
Salmon
it.
peach. Coral
Oh.
peach.
Coral. Not
And
bad.
I got a killer
Oh, I like that.
El Paso Chihuahuas.
I like that.
Look at that.
Soft, beautiful tee with a little Chihuahua with a bone on the back.
Oh, there you go.
I love
There
it.
it
Thank
is.
you, John.
Just
Thank
a
you,
little
Matt.
thanks, John.
Thank
There
you,
go.
Matt Friars. You guys are the best. And all right, fill us in, man. What's first of all, you went on a trip, like the scouting trip, if you will.
So I was out in San Antonio this past weekend, had an opportunity to talk to a lot of guys that were out there. Some really interesting names, especially in the starting rotation. Henry Baez pitched really well when I was out there.
Man.
Braden Nett's been a guy who's been absolutely tearing it up. Got to see Tyson Neighbors, Romeo Sanabria, Brandon Valenzuela's had a really nice year offensively at the plate for San Antonio. A lot of guys that are really, I think, pushing each other when they're down there. I think that's sort of the collective sense, is that it's a really close group, especially on the pitching side. And you've sort of seen it reflect not only in their record, but how these guys come out and pitch every night.
Let me start with Brandon Valenzuela.
Yes.
I've got to think that if you're Brandon Valenzuela and you're a catcher who's having a really good season in the Padres minor leagues, you're wondering, what is it going to take for me to crack the big league roster and get an opportunity?
It would take AJ Preller hiring a new manager, is my guess. Mike Schilt values.
Do you think
veteran
do
leadership.
you think that he could be ready, given the low bar of offensive production we've seen on the big league level on the catching side?
Yeah, look, there's definitely an argument for Brandon. I think he's someone who's a guy who's taken advantage of opportunity in San Antonio. He ended the year, I think a lot of people forget, in El Paso, and then slower spring training, gets a slower start, gets put back into San Antonio to start the year. I think for a lot of guys, that would be maybe a little bit crushing. But Ethan Salas obviously goes onto the IL, and he's taking advantage of every opportunity being there. 131 WRC plus at this point of the season. I think 451 slugging percentage. That's his second best career run production numbers. Really impressive. Guy can draw a walk extremely well. I think he's for his career over 10% walk rate throughout the levels. He's already a really good defender.
I was going to ask, how's the defense?
So he can gun down guys like crazy. The arm is fantastic. When you look at him framing, really does a good job of stealing strikes in the bottom of the zone. Luke Montz, the manager over in San Antonio, raved about him. You know, he talked a lot about him improving as a game manager, taking control of the staff. I think to your point, obviously the manager being with Mike Schilt, I don't know how much they're willing to give him an opportunity immediately
in a pennant race.
In a pennant race, yeah, you know, it makes it difficult, but I would say Brandon's really put himself in a good spot, not only with the production that he's put up, but with the kind of profile that he fits out, with him being more of a defense catcher first.
Well, and again, you know, you look at what Camposano's doing down there, and he's in AAA, ripping the cover off the ball. A guy like Brandon Valenzuela too. Look, other teams that may be more apt to say, well, we're not really in a pennant race right now, but we want to build for the future. Potential chips there for AJ to move?
Yeah, look, I think across the board for the minor league system, there is more capital than I think maybe some people would give them credit for. I think you saw a number of the names last night be involved in that. Miguel Mendez. I think Valenzuela is certainly a guy, if you're looking for a younger catcher, maybe if you wanted to make that move because you like not only just the floor with the defense, but possibly the continual upside with a bat, especially one that's switch hitting. So yeah, I think if you wanted to say he could be a trade piece, not that he'd be a super high, like, hey, that's a premier dude you're going to trade, it's going to headline a massive package. But if that did become the case, yeah, there is value with Brandon Valenzuela. Not only, I think, again, as a potential 40-man guy in the future, but also as a trade piece.
Talking to Clark Farenthold in studio from Matt Friars. You mentioned Braden Nett, not on the 40-man roster, which I think makes him more of a long shot to get a call up when the Padres need a starting pitcher, possibly on Monday. Game will be at in Philadelphia, but an intriguing option. Do you see the possibility that he could be coming up here in the second half of the season?
Yeah, you know, Braden's, I think, once he makes his debut and people talk to him, I think people will realize he's one of the best stories, probably not only from a scouting standpoint, an undrafted free agent in 2022, a guy that didn't throw in college, had to go to the draft league, through 16 innings there, was working at Home Depot when he actually signed his contract with the Padres. Do I see him getting an opportunity in the second half? I think I would sort of go with what my buddy David J said. He's only thrown 66 innings this year. That is his max he's ever thrown at any level across his professional career. I think you could see him in a longer relief role, maybe towards the end of the season. Again, the fact that he's not on the 40-man, I think plays a big factor into it. But again, when you haven't had a full workload higher than 66 innings, I think it would be a little bit difficult for the organization to be like, hey, we're going to hand the keys over to him rather than a guy like Henry Baez. But I will say Fournette, for me, he's the highest ceiling arm currently in the organization. I think when you look at a guy that can throw, 6-7 pitches total, technically, when we talked last time, he did sort of sideline the sweeper. But a fun story I'll tell, I was talking to him at spring training. It's about the split finger. He was using that pretty heavily in Puerto Rico when he was over there pitching in the winter. Ruben Diablo came up to him, was like, hey, not really living the shape on it. We're going to go ahead and ask you, throw it a little bit less. And Braden, being the kid that he is, he was like, yeah, I was disappointed by it. And he went on Instagram Reels, and on Instagram Reels popped up the grip of a kick change. And he started throwing that in camp. Now he throws it all the time. It's one of his best pitches that he uses in his repertoire.
Found it on Instagram,
which is the crazy thing. It's sort of a fad now. That's like, this is the thing to do.
I buy a lot of stuff from Instagram. Yeah. A lot.
So when you have a guy that sits, 95, 97, can top out at 98, has good ride on the fastball, is developing a really nice changeup. The curveball spins really tight, really good depth.
All right, hang on to that guy. That guy's a guy.
I'm still thinking about him working at Home Depot.
Honestly. I know.
Which department? Are we out in gardening supplies? Are we in the lumber section? That seemed like that'd be a tough one, but you get to drive the forklift around maybe a little bit. I don't know. He sounds great. I mean, it sounds like a guy that could be a part of the future. So obviously we know about Leodalis DeVries. We know about Ethan Salas. Any update on his health?
Yeah. So Salas, from my understanding, when I was in San Antonio, the word around it is being extra cautious. They're taking it very slow. He's in Arizona right now. He's also not swinging yet. He's tracking baseballs is the latest update that I had received.
That's maybe the most boring. Hey, don't swing, but go up to the plate. Put your uniform on.
Yeah.
Go up to the plate and just
yell,
watch,
swing, or take.
Just watch pitches. We just want you watching
just
pitches.
Take them in.
Be like, all right, fine. The abundance of caution I get. I mean, he's one of your top prospects, and so you have to do it. You have to be careful with him. I'm sure it's making him insane.
I'm sure it is too. I mean, I'm sure there's nothing more than he wants to get back onto the field than anything right now. But yeah, the abundance of caution is definitely the route that they're going.
I was never clear. Obviously, he's dealing with a stress reaction or fracture in his lower back. The slow start, was that contributing to it early? Because remember with Tatis, it took him forever to figure out stress reaction. Like, what's going on here? Or did it happen just one day and he was fine and then he wasn't fine and they shut him down immediately? I was never kind of clear on the injury timeline.
Yeah, so the injury timeline was a game late April. So he had hit a double earlier in the game, and then next at bat he had come up, gotten on base. When he was rounding second, you could see him it was actually in a swing before the at bat where he had gotten on. You could see him sort of just like stretch out the back. It was something tight, didn't look right. Stayed in, ran to first. Then when he was trying to there's a base hit, trying to run to second, go to third, just couldn't do it. And so they pulled him out. They didn't put him on the IL initially. Then they put him on the 7-day, and that's sort of where it's been from them. But yeah, it was an in-game thing that, again, just one of those where he stretches it out, can't get it loose. It ends up being the injury of what it is. And
that's tough.
Yeah, and he was a guy that played a ton of baseball last year.
He did.
Full season of catching, and then obviously the AFL too.
How concerning is a lower back injury for a 19-year-old catching prospect? Maybe to you, or have you gotten any sort of concern maybe from the organization, people you've talked to?
Yeah.
Or is there no concern at all?
Look, I can't really speak to the medical side of it, obviously.
Sure.
I'm not a MD or a physician.
You're not
or
a
anything
back
like
doctor?
That.
Why are you here then? Why are you here?
Right. Such a great question. Maybe the wrong choices in life. But no, look, I can't speak to the extent of how the organization, I would say long-term, their overall concern with it. I just think, again, when you have someone who is still at the moment 18 years old and you have signed for this amount of money and who they believe to be the catcher of the future, I think I look at him and say, hey, even with the struggles, positional value wise, what he does defensively, what I believe he can be offensively with his ability to walk, and I think can be, 15, 20 home run guy. that's, a really solid baseball player.
No doubt.
So I don't think, they want to risk anything with him right now. They want to take it slow.
Makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. So, listen, and we talked about the earlier in the week, the direction that certain teams have to take at the trade deadline. The San Francisco Giants were unable to sign a big marquee slugger, so they just traded for one. A disgruntled employee in Rafael Devers. They paid a lot of money to do it. That is a strategy that Buster Posey and his team will probably look to exploit over the next few years. Guys with no trade clauses. They come on in. We're going to trade for you. We're going to give you good prospects. And we're going to pay the money. Come on in. Now we have sluggers on our team. Ours is to the point where we don't have, hundreds of millions of dollars to spend anymore. We have all these long-term contracts, but we do have prospects that we can trade. We do it every single offseason. We unload a lot of the farm, and then AJ goes and restocks. For you, other than Leo, Salas, guys that probably aren't on the move, I don't want to ask you to speculate who's going to go, but who's probably going to get the most value.
Yeah, looking at it right now, I think there's a number of intriguing options on the pitching staff. Miguel Mendez, again, a name that's popped up. He's someone who has recently had a big surge over the last, I would say just really the start of the season. He's had 3 of his last 4 starts. He's had 15 or more swings and misses. Fastball's topped out at 101. That's someone who seriously has some value. I think trade stock could be rising on. If you want to look, again, the organization's strength, at least depth-wise in the farm, is the relief arms. If you want to go with Nunez, obviously he's someone who could be a contributor for the big league club. But when you're throwing 101, getting up to, 17 inches of horizontal break on your slider, extreme supinator, that's a name that you could obviously move. Tyson Neighbors is a guy that I love out of K-State who's in AA San Antonio right now. Across both high A and AA this season, he's got a 45% strikeout rate, which is pretty dang good. Really good fastball that right now, when I was looking at the Hawkeye, was getting 19, 20, 21 inches of induced vertical break, just massive ride on it. Really good gyro slider with it too. If you want to go to other places, there's obviously Kavares Tears. You could look at him in low A like Elsinore. You probably would want him to catch fire. And then maybe if the idea of sell high, just because the whiff rate has been higher. It's around 36% right now. Strikeout rate's at about 29%. Exit velocity when he connects with it has been exceptional, but there's a component of, hey, you need to make consistent contact.
Yeah.
Boston Bateman has looked really, really good. And I know for me, that would be a tough one just because I really like the upside that he has at just 19 years old. Right now, his 3.08 FIP is 4th in the Cal League. 3.51 xFIP is 6th. 27.2% K rate is 4th as well in the California League. So he's getting a lot of success here against solid competition comparatively to his age at this point. So there's certainly names. Again, the depth is there more throughout the organization. I think some people want to say right now, but there are players and pieces there available to make moves that you need to.
Certainly high draft picks are going to attract more attention from other clubs. Boston Bateman was the Padres' 2nd selection, I believe,
second round
last year. And then Cash Mayfield was the 1st. How's he doing so far in terms of, is he a guy that you would really want to hold on to, or do you see him more as a potential trade chip? Because both of those guys are still 19, 20, pretty young, right?
Yeah. So if you were to ask me between the two, personally, I would be more inclined to trade Cash. I would say right now. Obviously, he's had the shoulder issue a little bit. I'm glad to see him back and healthy. He's a little bit older, though, already for a prep arm. I think right now, some people might look at the velocity, which has been lower, 91, 92, 93 for the fastball, which I think coming out of out of high school, there were reports about, touching 97, 98. But the stuff has been, in terms of results, good. He's getting results right now. I think the overall stuff, though, when you look at the metrics, not as good as a guy, say, like maybe Bateman or something like that. So he would be someone I would say, for me personally, I would look between those two arms that you took in the 1st and 2nd rounds more likely to move off of. So
interesting. It's good stuff.
Real good stuff.
Really good stuff.
Yeah. What do you think the Padres are going to do here with their starting rotation then? If it's obviously probably not Braden Net yet, who are they going to fill Brian Bergert's spot with here coming up?
Yeah, look, losing Bergert's tough. I think he's looked exceptional.
We love him.
I've sent you some stuff on him. He has looked really, really good. I think you mentioned it the other day. That's a guy you want out there taking the ball. But looking at it from who would fill the void, obviously, I think Matt Waldron's certainly a candidate in AAA. He's obviously someone we saw last season. But again, to a guy that I just saw in AA, who has been one of the, I would say, best competitors that I've watched on a mound is Henry Baez. I mean, he's got a sub-2 ERA in San Antonio right now. Watching him, he's an interesting cat just because the stuff will start off fast. Like, he doesn't technically throw really a 4-seam fastball. It's more of a sinker, 2-seam action. It'll start off 93, 94, and he'll build up over the game. Like his last inning of work, he threw, I think we want to say 97.8 mile an hour sinker, just ripped that out. And he's actually changed his slider grip in camp. They worked with him a little bit on that, just to spin it a little bit tighter, to get less of sort of like a slurve shape on it, to just be a little bit more effective, not only throwing it for strikes, but getting swings and misses. I think based off of the success he's had this season, which has been more than ample, combined with the fact that he's already on the 40-man roster, that's sort of the guy that you're probably looking at outside of the AAA mark for maybe filling that back-end rotation spot.
I hope AJ Preller appreciates what Matt Friars does.
No doubt.
Because
they crush it, man.
You know, and they're all over social media. I'm sure that, other teams, probably scouting departments, follows, because you get the videos and stuff, so you can't be everywhere at all times. And, one of the great, I think, skills of AJ Preller, Clark, is building up his farm system, both in reality and also in perception around the league.
Well, a lot of times they say perception is reality.
That is true.
And the perception, AJ, I think this is a weird spot for him to not have. I think in his mind right now, he's going, what are they not seeing that we're seeing? Because we've got some really, really elite talent. And people continuously are ranking us 15,
or is he
16,
playing the
18.
mental games, just trying to get that perception back up.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm
everyone
saying.
says, "Oh yeah, he could trade anybody right now." Such a deep system, it's incredible. He can get whoever he wants. That he loves to be in that position. He wants to be the guy who has all the pieces, can do whatever he wants, play all of his games, but he needs a little bit of hype for that to happen.
Yeah.
And look, with AJ, I will say one thing, and I obviously haven't talked to him. I couldn't say this, but I believe he probably thinks that he can scout his system better than anyone else can take a look and figure out his scouts. I mean, figure out on their end what they think of his guys. And I think, obviously there's the trades like the Juan Soto one that everyone wanted to talk about last week, but
not everyone.
Not everyone. You guys didn't want to keep going around and around on that? That sounds crazy to me. But no, he knew what he was giving up in James Wood. He knew what he was giving up in CJ Abrams. He knew he was giving up Mackenzie Gore to get those guys. To get Juan Soto, who is a MVP player, you got to give up great prospect capital.
Well, I think about the guys that he unloaded last year. Are any of those guys doing anything? I saw Adam Major pitch the other day. Got torched. Graham Pauly was up for a second, never did anything.
Yeah, like
the only thing I could think of,
Lesko. Snelling, I guess,
Snelling's he's jumped back. I mean, I would say him maybe getting more time again with Rob Marcello Jr., who was a pitching coordinator last year in the minor leagues for the Padres.
And
he's back with him.
The kid that went to the White Sox was Drew Thorpe, that we got from the Yankees. He's hurt, right? So
hurt right
Jairo
away.
Iriarte, who crushes my soul to see what has happened to him in Chicago, just because of how nasty he was when he was here in San Diego. His fastball's like 93 right now over there.
I mean, again, these are those prospects that he unloaded and gutted the farm last year. And so far, I think we've won all those trades.
Well, with so much looking back at that god dang trade of 2022, like everyone's saying, "Oh, they sold the farm. They sold everything they had in 2022." And at the time, that might have been true to get Soto, but it's not still true 2.5 years later, is what you're telling us. Like, the system has been refueled.
Yeah, like I would, again, it's not to the point where it's a top 10 one right now.
Right.
But there's still a lot of guys, like we haven't even talked about Cale Fountain, who's close to getting back and actually seeing the Cal League. He's starting to play a little more regular at first base. He had another start yesterday. Humberto Cruz, who I'm very high on as a kid, who's, a lot of talk about around the organization. Young kid from Mexico, really strong right-hander throwing, topping out at 97, good spin on the fastball, good spin on the slider, really good solid depth and fade on the changeup. There's pieces that I think right now, maybe nationally, across maybe some major publications, that not everyone's, picking up or super high on, but I think give it a little bit more time. AJ has done this year after year and replenished. I think we're getting closer again back to that a little bit higher standing among major publications.
Clark, you absolutely killed
Crushed
it. The
it,
chat's going crazy. They said Padres need to hire Clark immediately, but
About this comment we just got. I love this kid's content. Just a reminder, I've failed at life knowing I could have been doing what he's doing. Keep up the good content, Clark.
Yeah, and it's always fun to have people be like, how much is AJ Preller paying you to post this stuff? And I was like, I wish. But it's not the case.
You're happy. You'd be happy to be a shill for him.
Oh,
The
if
paid
you want
shill.
to look, if you want to, I'll sell out for a little
Sell
bit.
your
No,
soul. Yes, of course.
Paid shilt and a paid shill.
Yes.
At the same time.
Got old
Clark,
Shilty in an
thank you so
hour.
much for coming in on a Friday. Really appreciate it. And thanks to John Conniff for the great swag from the Padres minor leagues. All right, we are just 1 hour in. In our second hour, another in-studio guest, our friend Darren Smith, is going to be here to talk SDFC, Padres, and more. Stay tuned. It's Ben Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Good stuff with Clark Farenthold from Mad Friars. I think there is a misperception. I know there's a misperception among general managers. AJ Preller has pushed back against it many, many times. But I think fans would believe that a successful trade is one where the GM is like a used car salesman who just got his worst lemon off the lot. Like, builds up this car. Oh, this is a beauty. I mean, I can't believe you're getting such a steal for $3,000. And the second the person drives off the lot, he's like hitting his knee, like, I can't believe that sucker took that prospect off my hands. Like, oh, this guy was worthless. And I just pulled the wool over his eyes and got one of his better players. And he took back a terrible prospect. It's not really how it works. There's too much knowledge around the game of all the prospects. You're not pulling the wool. Now, some trades work out that way where the prospect never, but they don't really even want to be the guy who is constantly getting over on the other GMs because, well, they're not going to get a lot of phone calls back if that's the case. He likes to put together trades that he feels are fair. And the Juan Soto trade, and we saw this in the quotes to Dennis Lin in The Athletic, the Juan Soto trade was one that AJ Preller thought was an extremely fair, well-crafted deal from both sides, that both teams got exactly what they wanted in that deal. The Padres got a generational player to help them make playoff pushes, and in a time that they were trying to be extremely competitive, the Washington Nationals got young, extremely good prospects who then developed into good major league players now. At least certainly 3 of them have developed into good major league players now. It's not always about trying to pull the wool over the eyes of the other team when it comes to a trade.
Yeah, but I mean, when you can pull the wool over the eyes of somebody, that's great that you do it. And you can unload guys that, or you definitely aren't fits for your system. I mean, look, the thing is sometimes when he was able to get rid of, Graham Pauley and Lesko and Woo-Suk Go. Remember Woo-Suk Go? Oh,
that was a throw.
Gosh,
that was a cash throw, and they don't think they wanted Woo-Suk Go. They released him recently.
They did.
By the way.
Yeah, he's out of baseball at this point, but we got innings for him on Sunday.
What was that
I'm sure he's got a job back in Korea.
That was a lot, right?
It was a lot for a guy that threw like,
it was like
80
$1 million.
Was it? I thought it was more
he
than
got
that.
like $1 million.
It was through like 84 miles an hour. I mean, it was like fantasy camp stuff from Woo-Suk Go. That's fair. That's fair. But no,
Hassan Kim was a great success
2-year,
story.
$4.5 million.
4.5.
You think you got 4.5 year, 2 years out of him? I don't think
no.
so.
No, I'm excited to see what AJ can do at this trade deadline. I think the creativity is going to come into play. Wouldn't surprise me at all if there's third team involved in a deal here and there. I mean, it's going to be. I don't envy him. I don't envy him at all. Having to figure out what's going to make this current major league team better. But, left field, obviously, like we talked about it on the roundtable, Benny, at least they know what they need. They pretty easy. We need to go identify and get better production from a left fielder. And also kind of cool that no matter who you get is going to be an upgrade. Really. I mean, if you have tiers of players, if there's a top tier, middle tier, lower tier, your lower tier is still going to give you more than what you're getting right now, most likely.
True. All right, we have Darren Smith coming in studio, and he's probably going to be here in about 10 minutes. So we're going to skip Don't Do This today, but I think we can't skip what would have been our number one Don't Do This story, and that is the update, the guilty verdict in the Wander Franco case in the Dominican Republic. But there's a twist here that now has me at least scratching my head and wondering, could we see Wander Franco back in Major League Baseball at some point?
Would be insane behavior.
So if you didn't see it yesterday, Wander Franco was found guilty of sexual abuse of a minor in the DR.
Wow.
Now, prosecutors
should it not just end right there?
That's where it should end.
And I don't know if it will, but the prosecutors were seeking a 5-year prison sentence. He got instead a 2-year suspended sentence. Now, Major League Baseball has not completed their investigation. They were waiting for the case to be finished. They will also have some sort of punishment and suspension. I'm sure it's going to be a long one that is also abides by the terms of the collective bargaining agreement with the Players Association.
I don't know what that looks like. I mean, they could, in theory, could just ban him for life based on the allegations and the guilty verdict, right?
Now, he's still, I don't know. I mean, they couldn't ban, wait, forgot his name.
Trevor Bauer.
for life, but he, in essence, you don't think he's coming back. Is that what is going to be the case? How old? Wander Franco is still just
23, 24?
Like 24 years old. I mean, he could serve 2 years.
He was 21 when this happened.
He could serve 2 years. He could come back, serve a suspension, and still just be 26.
Yeah, who wants that, though?
I don't know.
Who wants a guy that sexually abused a 14-year-old? I don't.
I was very confused yesterday with all of this information as well. And from what I was able to read, at least from other people, was that he still will have to apply for a work visa if he ever wanted to come back to Major League Baseball and a team even had interest in him. He'd have to apply for a work visa. With the guilty verdict, it's going to make that a lot more difficult to obtain. Then he's still going to have to face, I don't know, a year suspension at least for Major League Baseball. So you're already like that far behind. I don't know. Legally, I don't know if he's able to play in Major League Baseball ever again. Is it likely? I would say absolutely not.
I mean, look, the conditions of this that was the weirdest part. Hey, we're going to give you a 2-year suspended sentence as long as you don't contact any minors with sexual intentions.
I thought the weirdest part was that the mom.
And then the mom.
Well, that's the
girl
saddest part of the story.
Jail.
They threw the book at the mom who served essentially, pimping out her daughter for money.
For money.
She had, Franco paid her, the mom, thousands of dollars and said, yeah, I'm okay with this. Just as long as the money keeps flowing, I'm fine with a 14-year-old girl.
Good God.
And they actually did throw the book at her, and she got a 10-year sentence in prison for that. But Wander Franco essentially was didn't get at least the harshest sentence that they could have gotten.
Now, he's guilty of the charges. He was found guilty, but essentially he's not doing time. He got a slap on the wrist, and if he does it again, then he gets in trouble.
Yeah, man.
I don't get it.
I mean, there's no who's the team that's like, hey. That's not one of those let's zig while everyone else is zagging and go sign Wander Franco.
And I totally agree with you. But there's so many players in baseball who have done horrible things who come back.
Not that. Pederasts in major, not that we know of.
Yeah, I was gonna say that we know of. Yeah, no.
But abusers.
You've heard stories from guys.
Certainly.
Abusers are rampant. They're teams that can look past a lot of that stuff. There's it just for me, I think there's got to be a line, right? Like, hey, look, guy gets popped for PEDs. All right, sucks. Try to game the system.
See you in 80 games.
All right. I mean, it really doesn't make me insane. But like the domestic violence stuff and the child abuse stuff, that there's no place for that. You got to draw a line somewhere. And that's where you need to draw it.
I think you're right. I think ultimately it would be impossible to see that go forward.
No question.
With a Major League Baseball.
No question. Man. So it was an insane. When the verdict came out yesterday, I said, oh, good. He at least got some prison time. I still think 2 years is very light. And then I went, wait, that's probation. He's going to be on probation. And I don't know the man at all. Don't know his character. All I know is his character from what has been revealed in court, and it's not good. And then, somebody was tweeting about him posting thirst trap selfies on his Instagram. I'm like, I don't know that you get it.
Like yesterday?
Like 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Recently.
The day before the sentencing. It's like, hey, man.
You're not taking this seriously.
I don't think you're taking this seriously. I don't think you really understand the weight of maybe what you did, or the weight of what's about to happen to you. So, yeah, man, his career is over, and I think for good reason. I did read in the ESPN article that as long as he stays on the restricted list, they don't have to pay him. Them being the Tampa Bay Rays, who signed him, they finally pony up for a player, and he turns out to be a sex predator. And as long as he stays on the restricted list, they don't have to pay him. And it was a lot of money, guys. It was a lot of money. Signed him to a huge, huge deal.
Can he stay there indefinitely, though? I don't think the CBA allows Major League Baseball to simply say you're on the restricted list forever.
If he can't get a visa, he can't. They'll keep him on the restricted list. And how would you give him a work visa to come to our country and do that? So as long as he's on the restricted list, the Rays would not be required to pay the salaries from his 11-year 182. Buddy, talk about flushing your entire life down the toilet for that. It's nuts.
Meanwhile, yesterday with the Padres off, Just watch the other teams suffer a little bit in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it was fun.
The San Francisco Giants get swept at home by the Miami Marlins.
Our Marlins. Look at you guys. Thank you so
Come on, Marlins.
You made us proud yesterday.
Rafael Devers did hit another home run, but I think the Marlins or the Giants are
Have they
like
won?
3 and
They've won
8
2 games or something? Yeah.
since they got something like that. I mean, just not played good baseball
That was a
since he's arrived.
That was a contentious series too. There was a lot of hit batters and guys throwing at each other. It got a little spicy. But man, what a huge sweep for the Marlins. We needed that badly. Where are the standings?
Padres are now half game ahead of San Francisco and holding on alone to the third and final wild card spot in the National League right now. No scoring. Remember, I told you there were 7 shutouts on Wednesday. Even a limited schedule, there were 4 more yesterday. 12 shutouts in 24 games in Major League Baseball over the last 2 days. The Mets shut out the Braves yesterday. The Cubs shut out the Cardinals. The Blue Jays shut out the Guardians. And the Tigers returned the favor by shutting out the A's. So scoring has been tough of late.
It's
for
down,
teams.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if it's just the ball or just the time of year or what's going on right now, but it's been busy. All right. Are we ready to take a little time out?
Let's take a quick time
All
out.
right, and get Darren in.
Darren
All right, we'll get
studio
Darren
here.
Smith is here. We'll get him in studio. Coming up next, we'll talk SDFC, Padres, and more with radio legend D. Smith. Coming up on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, talk about sdfatloss.com. This is a way you can lose weight, even during the summer vacation seasons. You go into barbecues and stuff, you feel like, I don't want to go on a weight loss program right now, but you can. I did my losing of weight during the summer 2 years ago. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days. I even had a couple of cheat days, barbecues that I had, family stuff. I'm just going to enjoy myself. My counselor always got me back on track, kept the weight coming off up to a pound of fat per day, 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 60 days. For me, that was 40 pounds over the summer. I mean, it felt so good to lose the weight. And then when I was done, I was still able to enjoy August and September and October, nice, really warm months. You can do the same thing simply by setting up your free consultation right now. Go to sdfatloss.com. They will explain how the program works. It's doctor crafted. There is no exercise required. You don't take injections, and you don't have to buy any shakes or bars to eat. You're just eating real food from the grocery store, stuff like steak and chicken and fish, vegetables, and then the weight is going to come off. And if it's not, they will figure out what's not going right, and they will adjust it, and the weight will come off. It has been so successful for so many tier 1s around San Diego. You can be the next. Again, go to sdfatloss.com, get your free consultation, and right now take $200 off during their summer special when you sign up today at sdfatloss.com. Results may vary.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Usually don't do this time right now. We're just going to go straight to do this because having Darren Smith in studio.
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
Mega Doo-Doo moment as we welcome him. Darren, you know I do have to read the liner first, though. Don't Do This brought to you by Trust and Will.
Don't.
Leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die.
Do.
Set up a Trust or Will online at trustandwill.com.
This
is a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. How are you on the old Will Trust front, Darren? You good? Taken care of?
No.
Oh,
actually,
well, you know what? You're of the age. You really should go to trustandwill.com. Use the code FAN at checkout. Get 20% off.
Yeah, I know. Listening to you guys makes me feel bad about the things that I haven't done in my life. You know, I'm always like, my water feels a little hard. So I got to figure out how to figure that situation out.
They've been keeping it soft. They've been keeping it soft since 1925. So, just so you know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And I feel like that's something that we probably should address. And the second part of that is forever now, Lee and I have been like very negligent in getting that situation squared away. So
it's terrifying to think about.
I know, especially when you start rattling off the worst case scenarios. Like, what's going to happen to all these things? Yeah, we don't have any trust. We don't have any kids.
Right.
Like, we had I don't know. It just sort of disappears.
Yeah, where does it go?
Nobody has any answers to that. It's just going to be a free for all.
People will tied up in probate for years.
They'll just invade our house and just start taking random bottles of wine. So.
How's everything, man? Good.
Good. I have a dentist appointment here in about an hour or so. So right around the corner. So I figured, why not stop in? Had a little time. Good to see the boys. How are you guys doing? Man, everything's great.
We're great. You know, on our way to Philly for the week on Sunday. But you're a Philly guy. You've been to Philly, many times.
Yeah. Good city.
What can we expect? Are we gonna get beat up wearing a Padres hat? I've heard we are.
I don't think so.
I've heard both. I've heard
both.
I've heard regular season is a little more muted.
Yeah.
And don't do it during the playoffs. But then I've also heard, oh no, you guys walk around in a Padres shirt or a Padres hat, like they're gonna give it to you all day long.
Yeah.
Plus, not no bad blood. Right. I don't think it's one of those. Right.
We played them in the playoffs, but there's no bad blood there.
No, I think sometimes you hear those football stories, right? The NFL stories are always a little bit more aggressive.
Big time.
Like
that's NFL in general. Though,
yeah,
right?
The Giants fan
go crazy, get drunk, like it's a Monday afternoon.
It's a Monday game.
Sadly, the Phillies fans don't really have any reason to be mad at the Padres.
None at all.
Unfortunately,
I've heard some stories about Giants fans going down to Philadelphia, and the dude goes into the porta potty, and they turn it upside down.
Oh my god!
Or the guy that came out, his car was on fire. But those are that's like a geographic rivalry that would probably, lend itself a little bit more to that behavior. I think it'd be okay.
And Dominic's in our chat. He's an East Coaster. He says, you'll be fine. Walking around in a Mets jersey might be a different story.
Probably not great. And plus you guys are well behaved. The Woods are, Nan Caro's are well behaved.
Yes,
I make sure they're well behaved. Yeah,
I'll be very, very, very well
Ben's gonna be
behaved.
climbing greased lampposts.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get very far.
You won't.
Even ungreased.
I can't wait.
I'm not going to get more than a foot or two off the ground.
God, I can't wait to see that video or picture or whatever we come up with.
Darren, let's start with SDFC.
Woo!
Huge win.
Man!
I have to ask you though. I did not know the answer to this. Did you know what 4 goals in a game is called? Brace for 2, hat trick for 3. I had no idea whether there was terminology for 4 or not.
I think there is, but it's not.
I heard haul or a poker. Like
poker.
A 4 of a kind.
Yeah.
That's what
I came up with load. I think that's better.
Load?
You scored a
Yeah.
load of goals. That's
Grand
not
slam.
The Grand Slam.
Yeah.
4.
But and in 12 minutes over the course
It was
of the
the
game,
coolest
that was
thing.
so
Yeah,
awesome.
the guy's just a joke. He's like, a video game where you play against somebody who's really good at video games, which I am not, and all of a sudden the guy just dominates you in 5 seconds flat. You're like, I don't know how to do this stuff. And crazy to think too, like scoring 4, it's only happened 20 times in MLS history. It's happened 3 times this year.
So that's between, I was trying to, in baseball terms, obviously MLS hasn't been around nearly as long as Major League Baseball. It seems like it's somewhere between a no-hitter and a perfect game in terms of the rarity of happening.
Yeah. But think about it too for a guy like that. Like everything is a record now because this is an expansion club, right?
Yes.
But this is one that actually is probably going to hold up for a while because of the infrequency with which it happens. And he's an unreal player. It's kind of cool too, because, the official watch party was in Escondido in his hometown at a place called Tony Pepperoni. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Tony Pepperoni. I've never heard of it, but it looked like it was lit on Wednesday night and his family was there. And, like this Milan Olaski story for a local guy. As I said against Minnesota United, I just sort of blurted out after one of his goals, like, it was one of the best stories in MLS. I thought afterwards, maybe I overstated that a little bit. And now I don't think I did. And this is just turning into a great story, not only locally, but in the league.
So when they picked him up on a loan, I didn't get the sense that he was supposed to be this major impact player. This was a guy to fill in for injury, purposes for a couple of months, and then he'd be gone, probably back to Denmark at the end of his loan. Has he surprised people, or is this something that they were hoping to get out of him? I didn't get the sense that they expected anything near what he has produced so far.
No, I think you're right. I think what happened is Marcus Ingvardsson gets hurt in the 4th game of the year against Columbus. And so they have Milan in the system. The club in Denmark is the sister club for SDFC. So the sporting director, Tyler Heaps, even said, timing-wise, this just made sense for us. We needed a body. We're an expansion club. We don't have reserves. We need somebody. And this is a guy who, obviously, there's a connection to the town. He knows the system, knows how to play it, has some experience in Southern California. So let's give it a shot. And now it's to the point where even, the head coach is starting to be like, yo, he ain't going anywhere. Like, this guy is here. So, his loan is supposed to end at the end of July. I don't know exactly how that's going to work out or what the clerical stuff is, but I can't imagine he's not going anywhere. He's going to stay.
That's incredible. I tuned in maybe a minute before the first goal, and I went, oh, yeah, on the board early. Boom, another one. Boom, another one. And I was just going, what is happening? This influx. It was really, really cool. I mean, and you saw Vancouver come back and answer, and you're like, oh boy, this is why these guys, they looked pretty sharp too. What was 5-3 total?
5-3 final. They put one
final.
home very late to make it 5-3.
But look, that's a really, really good team that they beat. And of course, Darren, because you're a sports fan, you let yourself dream on it. You let yourself dream on, why not? We've beaten some of the best teams. We beat some legacy teams. You let yourself dream on it. For you, who's calling it, who's around the team, are you letting yourself dream on the big prize?
A little bit. It'd be hard not to.
Right.
When, you're sitting and everybody else is looking up at you at this point. And, you've done a lot of this without maybe your most marquee player in Chucky Lozano.
Yeah.
And even some of the terminology that I picked up on, just the way the club puts out its messaging sometimes is a little bit different. At first it was, this is expansion. We're just trying to put it together. give everybody an opportunity to come out and watch something that's fun and entertaining. And then it's like, well, maybe we could be a playoff team. And now this week it's, well, maybe we could win the supporter shield. And, that's something they give away to the team that had the best regular season. So, all of a sudden it's starting to switch around a little bit. And I think that's for good reason. I think, it's something that they're not just trying to market. I think it's something probably internally that a lot of the players are starting to realize, this is good. Like, this is a good team. Like, this thing is coming together in a way that is really impressive through 19 games for a thing that wasn't even in existence 5 months ago.
Darren, let me dive into that just briefly. The supporter shield. I think there's a segment of American sports fans who would scoff at that.
Sure.
The President's Trophy in hockey, the best regular season record. You know what that gets you? Nothing in the playoffs.
Right.
Around the world, that's all there is. You play in the Premier League, there is no playoffs. You win the title by winning the supporter shield, by having the most points in the regular season. We do things differently in this country. We are so playoff oriented,
ring hungry.
How important
ring culture.
Doesn't that make more sense though? If you really break it down and really think about it, you're like, let's put it in baseball terms. Like, you're rewarding your success over a 6-month-long season, not a 3-week playoff.
I know.
Right, not the randomness of what happens over a couple weeks.
But team gets hot.
The lights are the brightest. But I mean, it's funny because I have friends in baseball who have paid attention to some of the European soccer. Like, why don't we recognize what it is that happens during the regular season, right? I don't know that it's going to happen. We're not going to switch around decades of culture.
I doubt it.
Even people, though, in soccer kind of scoff a little bit at the supporter shield, because it's not, you're playing teams, and MLS plays off, they play at times where we're without players who are playing international tournaments. You don't play everybody, so the schedules aren't the same. So is the supporter shield really something that is equitable?
You know what the rules are our in. You just need to finish top 9 to get in the playoffs. So that's the main goal. So
and just get in, right?
We don't have to, play our players every single game to get there. And that could be an advantage now with SDFC at the top of the table with, less than half the season remaining. They might be able to, as Dave Roberts would do, load manage a little bit more in the second half. You don't have to go all out for a supporter shield. Having fresher legs come. When are the playoffs? October, November? Late.
Yeah, late fall.
Having fresher legs could actually be an advantage to not, go all out to pursue that.
It could be. The one thing I just want to add about Milan Uloski, because I remember a couple of weeks ago we talked about the friendly, the exhibition game against Club America. And I said, this is an opportunity for guys to show their manager that they're deserving of more minutes. He was one of those guys because he started that match, scored twice. And he's one of those guys that said, hey, like, I you can trust me in a situation here. And, now we're seeing a guy go out there who cannot be stopped, who's leading the team in scoring. So, it gives somebody a weekend shift like we were talking about in radio.
Yeah.
I did weekend updates, and that led to me being a regular host. And nobody cared about those weekend updates, but I did.
But you did.
Those are the most important weekend and updates I ever did, and it turned into a 20-year radio career. So good for that guy.
This Club World Cup that's going on right now, Messi obviously, Inter Miami getting a lot of the attention. Is MLS showing that they've narrowed the gap at all on the rest of the world in soccer? I haven't really followed it.
Well, that team is,
yeah,
because that team advanced. The other two teams got skunked. So I don't know that it was great for Seattle or LAFC, but when you have Messi and now you get to take on the European champs this weekend in Paris Saint-Germain. So, they are, and that would probably be the biggest accomplishment in MLS history if Inter Miami were to take down the European champs. So, they at least are. They continue to, be the sort of North Star for the league. I like the tournament. I like it a lot. Every time I tune in, it seems like people are having a ton of fun. It has its flaws for sure. But in terms of just an MLS point, like watching Miami play against Paris and Messi play against his former club where they hated him. Those Parisians absolutely hated Messi. It's the only place he ever went where he got whistled and booed and all that. So, there's some good storylines there. He's going against his former manager from Barcelona, but it'd be an unbelievable accomplishment to watch Inter Miami take down Paris Saint-Germain. I don't think it'll happen, but it would be you'll never hear the end of it from MLS. I'll tell you that.
Let's go to break and come back and talk some baseball.
Absolutely. Darren Smith's going to stick around in studio until he's going to go check in. Usually like get you there 15 minutes in advance to check in. But whenever you're here until whenever you need to go to the dentist. Darren Smith, more coming up with Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, played at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
First, though, did you you know what I did after the roundtable yesterday? I had a couple hours to kill before I needed to go my anchor shift at Channel 10. My son came down. I met him at Sammy's at 7 Mile for lunch, and I had the Kung Pao chicken. It was so good again.
So jealous.
It was so good. There was tables. There was action going on. Middle of the day. It was like 11:45, and atmosphere was great. Sun was out. I was looking out at the patio there on San Diego Bay. Just really, really nice time yesterday. Me and him at 7 Mile Casino.
Always a great time at 7 Mile. You didn't sit down, play a little California style blackjack?
We thought about it. I had to get to work after lunch, though, and he wanted to go and go on with his day. It was nice of him to come down and meet me, but it's not that bad of a drive because it's close.
Very, very simple. And listen, this weekend, no matter what you're doing, they're going to be open for you. If you want to go in the morning, you want to go in the midday or the afternoon, whatever, it doesn't matter. They'll take care of you. Open 24/7. Smoke-free environment, slot machine-free environment, so it's more calm than a regular casino. Go check it out for yourself, my friends. It's 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
All right, we're back with Darren Smith in studio. And, of course, coming up at the top of the hour, a little early today, a Friar Friday management report with the skipper, Mike Schilt. Of course, the manager's report refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Well, here we are, Darren, midway point of the season today. Game number 81 of 162.
Whew, man. Time flies.
Time flies.
Right.
Also drags a little bit.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, when you're constantly watching one-run games and now again, offense around baseball right now, it's a little bit suspect. You have teams that have some firepower, certainly. San Diego Padres are not one of those teams right now. You don't firepower offensively is not what you'd call the San Diego Padres, but man, there's value in winning some of these games. And when you get to the end of the year, if you are one of those playoff teams, you've won a bunch. You've thrown a bunch of shutouts. You've had a bunch of close games. You're a little bit more battle tested, D, after some of the wins this year.
Yeah, and I don't know that I can back this up with any sort of data. By the way, Clark, amazing.
He's incredible.
What a listen.
Right? Clark was awesome. Yep.
Absolutely. But aren't a lot of those postseason games often a little less high? They're not as high scoring, and they're a little closer as well. Has anybody done the bit yet where you look back and say, well, what was their record at the midway point last year? That was like one of my favorite.
Oh, we did it yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a standard. Yeah.
And like the point of that whole exercise, I think, upon reflection, is that none of us know anything like ever, because I think we probably try to compare it to what it was that was happening last year. And it doesn't mean because you're ahead of last year's pace that you're going to finish ahead of this year's pace. That doesn't make any sense. So, it's just sort of like, yeah, we didn't know anything a year ago, and we probably don't know anything today.
One thing I do know is, the gauntlet was thrown down, I think, by all of us on this show, mostly the whole city, of, hey, man, hot start is imperative for this team. You have to do it. And they did it. And, it's like the guy that makes one good album and he can coast his entire. They have used that hot start better than anybody. I mean, because they've really, really kind of cashed in on it to keep themselves consistently above 500.
It'd be 2 games below 500 or a game below 500 without it.
It shows you the value of those games in April that for so many years, you, me, Ben, Ello, everybody, season's long. Don't worry about it. We got 130 more of these things to go. It's ultimately true. It's true. But that hot start, that cushion, oh my God, it has been fantastic.
It has been. And whether that stretch of games comes in the beginning or the middle or the end, I suppose, is open to some subjectivity there.
Right.
Because whatever it is that you do to go on one of those kind of stretches is probably what's going to carry you over 162.
Yep.
So, it just stresses again, like how long these seasons are. I don't need to tell anybody listening or you guys. I mean, we've all lived through this enough, and yet still we all find ourselves saying sort of the same thing. But you're right about that. Right now, without it, you'd really have a totally different conversation heading into July about what to do with some of these players.
Massively.
And that's the point, right?
Massively. Because
you can't predict or guarantee that it's going to come in August. You can't predict or expect that it's going to come in September. But that it happened when it did, at least A, proves that there is something internally there that you can rely on. And B, it also just it creates the conversation now where instead of it being one-sided about what your strategy is going to be, at least now it's an open discussion about what the strategy should be.
100%.
Right? Yeah.
But historically, for Mike Schilt teams, it has happened in the second half of every season. There's like another gear that his teams find.
It's a lot of pressure.
But, and one thing that at least mildly concerns me as a fan, I don't necessarily see where this team has another gear. I saw it last year. Even Mike Schilt even admitted to us in spring training, yeah, we're a long way off from where I want our team to be, but wait for the second half. He told us that when we took him to dinner, before he'd even managed a game with the Padres, and he was right. I don't know about this team though. They're not sloppy all over the yard. Yeah, they have their ups and downs like all teams. They just simply need their stars to hit. And
that's it.
You can't turn a key. You can't flip a switch and go, okay, Toddy, it's time for you to now have a 1,000 OPS for the next month. It doesn't work that way.
But isn't that it? I mean, without Toddy's hot start, what are we talking about? with him. Where are his numbers now at the midway point of the season? So, again, we know he's capable of it. Why it really hasn't looked the way it looked over the first 3, 4, 5 weeks of the season, unclear to me. I don't know if there's any theories in this room. You guys are way smarter than I. But that's the one that you got to kind of get humming again back to the way it was earlier this year. There probably is some correlation between Fernando Tatis's start and the Padres start, right?
Yeah, that was the dumbest thing you've ever said, though.
That we're
you
smarter.
Guys are way smarter than
that's
I.
not true.
That
That's
really
not
dumb.
true. I'll take it. Take it. Paulie, save that clip, actually. Just, Paulie, save that and work it into the intro.
Yeah, well, the aura of Clark is still in the room.
That's
So,
true.
yeah,
That's fair.
there's
That's
still
fair.
a little lingering IQ here.
No,
Clark's
that's
way
fair.
smarter than all of us, apparently. So
I'm so interested to see, as most Padres fans, and we're joined live in studio by Darren Smith. I'm so interested to see the trade deadline, as I am every single year with AJ Preller. I know that we all got on here a couple years back and said, no, it's really smart. Just buy on the margins. Just be smart with it. I don't want another G-Man Choi situation in here. I don't want a Jake Arrieta situation. Then again, I also don't need you to go out and get Jose Ramirez, right? Like somewhere in the middle is good with me, but it's so imperative that he does it. This is going to be, it's going to take some real creativity, probably some other teams involved as well, moving things around. This is where AJ thrives, though. Darren, you know AJ very well. He lives for this stuff.
Oh, yeah. He lives in the world of concepts, right? Of 3-team trades, of moving money around and this player from that spot and this player to that. Yeah, he lives in that space, and it's all in his head. It is the meme, the beautiful mind meme of all the different
hunting too.
all the signals, right?
Yeah.
That I don't even know what the signals are, and he's got all of those sorts of things. I think he's just incapable of looking at a group like this. Listen, I mean, before the season started, I thought they made a decision that they were going to ride with Cease and they were going to ride with the Rise and they were going to ride with King, even though these guys were on expiring contracts, because that was the tone. That was the that was the season that they were going to have, is they were going to see this thing through. And I mean, I would stick with that. I would stand, if there's an opportunity perhaps to move a guy because it makes a little bit of sense to help you here. Sure. All for it. But I'm with you. Like and plus it's like, hey, AJ's been around a long time. His future is what it is. He's not as signed for as long as some other people around here. So, I think he's the kind of guy who probably is like, hey, this is the tone I wanted to set to start the season. So this is the way I'm going to keep it going here in the middle of the season as well. And I'm exactly where you are. I don't know that we're going to look at Rafael Devers coming through the door, but by the same token, if anybody's going to figure out a way to start moving different things around involving other teams, it's that guy, who never stops for a second to think about how to make it happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of Rafael Devers, I want to get Darren's thoughts on some of the other NL playoff contenders, including the one the Padres are going to be facing later today. Got a few more minutes with Darren. We'll get to that right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, your 15-minute drive-through oil change. Speed's getting back to normal in National City. Southbound 5 accident was cleared from the right lanes near Civic Center. Crash over the right shoulder, eastbound 94 at Sweetwater Springs. Also hit and run crash reported on northbound 15 past Friars Road. It's over the right shoulder. San Diego summers mean beach days, road trips, ball games. Make sure your ride's ready with Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Drive in, stay in your car, and be done in about 15 minutes. No appointment needed. For coupons, visit SoCalOilChange.com. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I think my first reaction when I heard the Giants had acquired Rafael Devers was, and perhaps that was the correct reaction, Darren, because I do think it was a good deal for the Giants. They needed a star. They have no stars. They needed a star like him. Haven't played well since he arrived. I wonder whether they were close enough, or if the good start by the Giants gave them a little bit of false hope to pursue Rafael Devers. I think they'll still be happy they have him, next season and beyond. But what do you think about that move and whether the Giants truly are contenders here?
I don't know if you guys, did you spend any time talking about Juan Soto? No. Obviously, when Soto comes here, I think it was a reminder from a couple of years ago. Sometimes these in-season trades, it just takes a while. Guys often, and I know we like to think of them as non-human beings and just avatars that are expected to play, right? Because we make trades in fantasy sports or whatever, but they are humans and their whole lives get upended. And sometimes it's a risk you take, sometimes it's a risk you take when you have a guy that just moves across the country and is now expected to start performing at a level where he was performing. And I think
next day, by the way.
Hey, here, go take a glove, go play that position. Every time he turns on social media, David Ortiz is yammering on about him.
God, holding up his phone.
Right.
Look at these texts he didn't respond to. Like, whoa,
of all the things that happened.
Fat piece of crap.
Right, look at this lazy guy. Just didn't. So, all of that, I think we didn't ever see the best version of Soto that first summer here. He was starting to get it going, I thought, in the postseason, which was great. But making those trades, that's where you run a little bit of a risk. So, they just got swept by the Marlins.
Yeah.
Is that right? They
That's
got
right.
swept by the
Correct.
Marlins. So, yes, you're right. They did trade for the contract, which is multiple years. You can't bring stars in there. They've tried everything with Stanton and the Judge. You can't get guys to go there. Is that exclusively for this year? I don't know. I don't really know the way that's supposed to unfold for them, but I always think that's a little bit underrated, that guys are just expected to show up there and start performing to their level when they've had this, not just baseball changing moment, this life changing moment, like somebody like Devers did.
We haven't hit on a lot of those guys, and we've run through some of the mid-season acquisitions, and really, nobody. Adam Frazier was a 330 hitter until he got here, and we didn't have a position for him, and put him out in the outfield, and I think he got hit in the head with a ball, and couldn't hit a lick.
Who's the dude from the Reds that came over the same time with Soto?
Brandon Drury hit the grand slam the first night. Day one grand
I was trying
slam.
to think of
that night was great.
That night was amazing. It was amazing.
That was the
Who's
high
the
point.
Best trade acquisition where you have to account for star power before the trade, how they were doing. They were doing really well. They got moved.
Juan
And then they
Soto
keep
was he was the most productive, but even people,
there was a drop off.
People here hate him. It makes no sense. There's actually no value. I'm
like, hey, he led the team and everything. Don't care.
Don't care. He sucks.
Overrated.
Like, all right.
If the Padres
Ryan
went out
Ludwig. Remember when Ryan Ludwig came here? It's like it totally disrupted that 2010 rhythm that they had.
Fell off a cliff.
Don't you feel like if they went out and just did this major blockbuster? Paul Skeens is pitching for the Padres, and all of a sudden he just drops off for the second half.
He's throwing 91. You're like, what the hell? So it is a risk.
It's
a huge
I think
risk.
Carlos Beltran got traded to the Astros
Luis
a
Ariz
million years ago.
Luis Ariz was pretty good when he got him. It wasn't a deadline deal, but Luis Ariz was fantastic for this team.
That's a guy that wakes out of bed though
and just ready to play baseball.
He had a walk off his first home game here. After they got him,
it was amazing. Amazing.
I don't even know like that's so far beyond what you can even scout because it's totally unpredictable. You could say, hey, listen, we saw the same thing about Devers, right? What it's going to look like in that ballpark with the overlay. But it doesn't matter. Like, how is the human being actually going to perform under these conditions that he's never been in before? You don't even have an offseason to prepare for. It's like, it's Tuesday. You're getting set to board the plane. Oh, by the way, get your suitcase off the plane and, there's an Uber waiting for you. So, good luck in life. Imagine that.
The buy low guys on bad teams that now have an opportunity, those are the guys that I like. The hungry guys that have never won a championship. Right. This whole, let's bring these guys in that have won multiple titles. That'll help. All right, maybe. Xander, whatever, fine. But the guy that's hungry and he knows I got like 3 years left. I'm playing to 1,800 people here in Chicago, and I want to win a championship, man, and I want to do it now. Lesser names, the Mike Talkmans of the world, right? But Luis Robert, a bigger name. The change of scenery, buy low guys that are hungry. That's who I. That's
Me
who
too.
I want.
And because your point is, it's not just the performance; it's also what was that guy's role in that clubhouse? Right. You guys, we're all big on clubhouse culture here.
Huge clubhouse guys. Yep.
What was that guy's role over there? Because if he ran the clubhouse there, now all of a sudden he has to come in and go, well, who runs the clubhouse here?
Right.
Because you're not that guy anymore.
Right.
And that's a totally different shift in dynamic for players.
And I think that's where AJ Preller has shown the most growth over the last decade, that he now cares about how his players are going to fit into a mix and what they kind of bring off the field as opposed to just, I love the talent of this guy. I'm shoving him into my lineup somewhere. We're just going to do it.
Preller has a handful of players I've heard that he can call at random times and find them in random situations and say, what is your info on this player?
Yeah.
Tell me what it is. What's his work ethic?
It wasn't always that way with him.
No,
it wasn't.
no.
It wasn't.
But
He
now
was-
he's got some guys and some names that would make you laugh that he could call and find them in the club and be like, hey, what's the skinny on this dude here?
Yeah.
And he could find out some good
I'll
dope.
tell you a quick story because I know, Darren, you got to go and Mike Schilt's going to join us. I was doing a story. Jorge is the new media guy and interpreter for the Padres that just joined the organization about a month ago. And he said, first thing, AJ was like, what do you know about the guys? He came from Cincinnati. What do you know about them? And he goes, this and this. No, he goes, I want to know all the details
Give me everything
from your team. You know, like, tell me what you know. I like, he will find information from anyone everywhere all the time.
He has quite the Rolodex. And people answer his call, which I think is a credit to him. One of the things that should be in the book about Preller someday.
And, Woods was on these Reds early. He picked them as a potential surprise playoff team. And with Terry Francona, I think there's a big series coming up for the Padres.
They're a talented team.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
doing the
It's the second half now, Darren. They're all
second half starts now, baby.
I mean, it is. Well, it is just because of what we said. The deadline's right around the corner.
Yeah.
So, like, what are you proving to not only your general manager and your coaching staff, but to your front office that might have to say, here you go. Go ahead. Get it done. Here's the green light.
Love it.
What answer will you give when they say, have you been flossing every day?
Yes.
Yeah, of course I have.
At least 3 or 4 times
will
a
you be
week.
lying?
For about a week now.
Yeah.
So that my gums don't bleed.
The cramming. You're
Yeah.
cramming for the dentist is my favorite.
Once I get the reminder text that I have the appointment, I'll immediately start flossing.
Yeah, get my water pick out.
Yeah. And have you been flossing? Of course. Yes, I
Absolutely.
have.
Absolutely.
Darren,
Can't
thank you
tell?
so much
Thank
for
you,
coming
guys.
by.
Thank you,
This was
brother.
a lot of fun. Darren Smith. Love him on Fridays. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks when we're back from Philadelphia, but joining us from Cincinnati, Ohio, when we come back. The manager, Mike Schilt, the manager's report coming up with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we are halfway home on a Friday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. It is time to get down with our pal Mike Schilt, skipper of the San Diego Padres. Here in a moment, I'm Woodsy. That's Paulie, and that is Ben Higgins.
Yep, the manager's report with Mike Schilt, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. And joining us right now from Cincinnati, Ohio, where the Padres open a 3-game series against the Reds later today, is the manager, Mike Schilt. Mike, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so earlier this week, you made the media go through an entire guessing game about where Yu Darvish was going to have his rehab start.
Yes.
Turned out to be Lake Elsinore. We had a lot of fun with that. We enjoyed playing that game. So I'm going to turn it around on you. Do you think you can guess who's going to be waiting for you in Philadelphia when you guys arrive on Sunday night after your series against the Reds?
Any ideas?
Any ideas?
Oh,
did we lose him?
we got him now.
We got him back.
It's a
Okay.
whole setup.
Did you hear my guess?
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's all
I got
right.
you now. All right. Here's your guessing game. Who do you think is going to be waiting for you in Philly when you guys arrive on Sunday night after your series in Cincinnati?
Guess who?
Bud Seeley.
Oh, not bad, but
not
incorrect.
Bad.
No.
Three of your favorite radio hosts and personalities.
All right.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
On our way to Philly, we leave Sunday morning early, coming out for Monday and Tuesday's game, coming out to see the fellas in the second half. So we're excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're little vacation for us, but we wanted to include some Padres baseball in that. So when you see us, don't be surprised. Because we're gonna
look forward to it.
All right, we do too. I wanted to see, Skip, if you could walk us through something real quick. Your favorite. So I was looking at Twitter the other day, and a lot's happened since we last talked to you.
It's true.
Series with the Dodgers, all that fireworks. It gave us no shortage of things to talk about. But the thing that really jumped out at me was a little clip from AJ Pierzynski that was talking. I guess you and him had caught up, and you talked about having to serve your 1-game suspension. And I did not know this. They actually they lock you in your office, or they have a proxy there to watch you to make sure that you're not managing the game from your office. Is that standard operating procedure? Is that something new?
That's pretty standard. And just to be clear, I mean, I wasn't shackled in my office. I watched a game with Josh Stein and Alan Craig and Adam Esker. And so, there's already a multiple Major League Baseball representatives that are in charge of game operations that are policing the clubhouses for any and all kind of things.
Sure.
And so, one of their additional responsibilities to make sure I didn't, leave my office and try to involve myself in the game.
Now, I know you don't want to incriminate anybody throughout your career, but do you have any stories of maybe, I don't know, a former mentor of yours maybe doing that at a time, maybe yelling up the club, up the tunnel at something, or relaying messages somehow?
I mean, that's all going on. I've done it. We've all done it. But that's kind of I don't know about fun, because those situations you get yourself in can be a little compromising and not as fun. But it's the intrigue of the game. That's kind of behind the scenes. That's the nuances of the game that are kind of cool and quirky. But based on where the game's at now and how they've had to police the game with all the things that have unfortunately gotten to the game that are a little bit more white collar in the form of espionage. That's all pretty much gone away.
Talking to the skipper, Mike Schilt. I know you trust your guys. I know you trust every single person that works with you and next to you. That being said, how difficult is it to sit and watch your team play and have no control over the next move or anything else? Is a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult is it for you?
1 to 10. It's probably different numbers for different reasons.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get an average number, I'd say. Listen, you always want to be there with your guys, man. So, if 10's like the hardest thing to do, then it was, just 10 not being there with your dudes. So that's probably that one. But beyond that, you also, if you always say this, I do believe that, we give a lot of freedoms to our players, and we partner with them, and we prepare them and work with them. But ultimately, it's a player's game, and they're the ones out there playing. And always think and believe this sincerely in my experiences that, championship players think and do for themselves because, they're the ones out there competing in real time. And so, that's important so my point being is, you let them go play. Our staff is excellent across the board. And, I let them do their job for the most part in a lot of areas. I'm, clearly responsible for mine. But yeah, I just trust them to go out and go play and know what to do in the right situation.
We were talking to Jesse Agler earlier this week, and I hope you like Jesse. He's such a sharp guy and does such
Jesse's
a good.
Great.
Jesse's really great, and he was talking about how in baseball, kind of his theory. He said, I don't know that I bring this up to Mike Schilt, but you can look at the schedule in January and go, a month like June with 26 games, 27 days, all that travel. You don't even know what the injury situation is going to be. That's going to be one of the toughest spots for the team. And we talked about it at the beginning of this stretch, and you were kind of on the, hey, one game at a time. But after Wednesday's game, when you guys came back, won a second straight series, got through that stretch at 13-13, I heard some of your comments, and I thought that was impressive how strongly the team was able to finish. What were your thoughts there?
Yeah, I echo that. Very, very pleased, impressed. Not overly surprised, but don't take anything for granted. I mean, listen, the thing that we talk about internally a lot is that I believe in wholeheartedly is, winners find solutions. If you got something going on, you need to get off your chest. That's healthy. You have something that you need to say. That's good. But by and large, there's no money in complaining. And it is what it is. The schedule is a schedule. You're short in an area. You got a guy hurt. Other teams have similar issues. But that being said, this group did that. They found solutions. They paddled their tails off, won a lot of close games. We're in a lot of close games. Had a lot of different things took place on a field, a little bit off the field, that can be distraction based. And we just kept our heads down and just keep playing baseball, man. And so we did take that, stay present, get it done today, next man up, figure out a way. But I got to tell you, it's not an easy stretch, man, not an easy stretch of the schedule, but guys really competed very, very well and stayed together and probably got closer even, which is already, a pretty close group.
Yeah, Jay Cronenworth had some really nice things to say about the clubhouse yesterday. He was on, did a podcast. Maybe it was Pierzynski's again. Had a lot of nice things to say about you and how the group is really, really tight. And obviously you see it on the field and you see it with the results too, Skip. But I wanted to ask you, we had talked yesterday on our show about what an important kind of maybe 48, 72 hours it is for the San Diego Padres. Darvish goes down, throws a sim game in Elsinore. Any update on how he's feeling and maybe when you could pencil him back in the starting rotation?
Not anything concrete about the penciling in, but we are getting closer to putting together, a plan that is getting him back. He had a good outing, came and traveled with us after that outing, 3 innings, 51 pitches, felt better even in third than he felt in the first and second. So very favorable. We'll evaluate after yesterday's day off, see where he's at from a catch play standpoint, figure out what the next, bullpen looks like, and then what it looks like beyond that. Whether he goes to Arizona for a simulated game or just what that looks like. So, but he is getting closer. The 51 pitches is a big one. He hadn't been to that number in a while, and he recovers well, moves forward, and now we're bumping into getting him to a place where he can come back and pitch for us here in the big leagues for 80 bullets or so.
Talking to Padres manager Mike Schilt on the manager's report, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. A lot of fans curious about who's going to take Ryan Burgert's next turn in the rotation. I mean, we're curious because we're going to be there, and I don't think this is a breaking news situation. I would ask you is what happens this weekend going to kind of partially determine how you guys are going to proceed going forward in filling that spot in your rotation in the short term?
I mean, it could potentially have a bearing on it. We've got some options that we're still finalizing, debating. So, it's a pretty fluid situation, quite candidly.
So secretive, and I get it. I totally understand why. And
I just gave you the absolute straight shot of what it is. That was no secret. That was the actual.
It's fluid. I know. It's fluid.
Okay, yeah. Tell us what you know. That's it. Talking to skipper Mike Schultz. How is it was interesting. You did a press conference or one of your scrums before a game, and you were talking about just how unlucky you thought Xander Bogaerts had been getting this season. And then he goes on this massive tear. He couldn't get out. It was 8 hits in a row or something. He was incredible. And then I saw the slide the other night, and I went, oh, no, he's laying there on the ground. How's he feeling? Is he back in action this weekend?
We're really optimistic. I mean, it's a couple of things. Yeah, he's been, he's finally getting results, and good for him, good for us, for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Good to see, like I said, the work, the approach, all the things that, we measure in this game now that are underlying, that tells you if a player's looking to be in a good place to have success. It's good to see the actual success take place coupled with those numbers. Relative to his health, the 48 hours was well used. Texted with him yesterday, optimistic about the day. We'll see when he arrives to finalize it, but he, looks like nothing overly serious. That a sore, compromised shoulder he hurt last year, but it looks like some rest is done and good, and we'll see if he's available for tonight.
So I'm gonna have to give you some credit here because you do a good job in terms of having to talk to the media every single day, and I can imagine that one thing in particular can get frustrating because for a couple months we're all asking the same question: why don't you change the lineup? Why don't you change the lineup? And then you change the lineup a couple times, and everyone goes, "Why are you changing the lineup so much, Mike?"
Insane. It's insane behavior.
We can get you both. We can get you both ways. But please, enlighten us a little bit about your thought process in the last, few games where we saw a couple of different, orders at the top of your lineup.
Yeah, I mean, so I understand. One thing beautiful about the game is it's lineups and a couple other things are. Fair game for people to talk about and think about and discuss. And that's one of the beautiful, wonderful things about our game. And I appreciate the fact that people care enough to discuss them and have opinions. And so, just looked at it before Jackson, went through the concussion protocol deal. I'd had my head around, flipping Louis and him, looking at the top, just now we get to the halfway point of the season, figuring out how we can optimize things. And, the good news about the first 4 is they literally are interchangeable. We don't want to create any real lanes for anybody. We have a little bit of that in the lineup. But, so looked at it and then start talking to the guys. And I do get some opinions from the players and what their thoughts are. And, they matter, and people will say, they should hit where you tell them to hit. Well, that's not really how it works. I mean, and the good news is our group will be like, hey, wherever you want me. And the high percentage of them, and they are. But we also have baseball conversations. Hey, what's this look like? How's this feel to you? You liking this spot? So we talk through all those things, and we look at the balance of it. And like I said, ultimately, we got 4 guys that you could effectively hit in any one of those spots and feel pretty good about it, and we do.
Yeah, that's interesting because you say that you want to listen to what your players say, and it's not. I think it certainly makes sense that you want a guy to feel as comfortable as possible. You want him to be honest with you and tell you that you don't want him to lie to you and go, yeah, I can hit just as well in any spot, when he truly feels comfortable in maybe 1 or 2 different places in the order.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I don't think I know that communication is really important. I feel like just in general, people recognize that not everybody in a team setting, regardless of whether it's on a Major League Baseball team or on a corporate team, or you guys have a team clearly, and not everybody's going to get what they want, including myself. So, but the healthy thing is there's discussion about it. People get to feel heard, their opinions valued, come up with what we think is the best for the Padres, and then we go execute.
Well, Mike, good luck in Cincinnati. I'd say see you when you get home, but we'll see you before that in Philadelphia on Monday. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. You guys be safe, man. Look forward to seeing you.
Well, thanks,
We will.
Skip.
Mike Schilt, Manager's Report, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925.
Oh, Shilty.
We got some stuff to talk about. Do you want to still get to Take on Woods when we come back, though? Sure. All right. We will.
Sure.
We can always revisit what Mike Schilt had to say about his
We got
pitching
time.
rotation. You Darvish. We will reset that at the bottom of the hour. But to stay on format and stay on clock, we got one final game of the month of Take on Woods. Last chance to qualify for the trip to Las Vegas, the spa package, the poolside credits. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We'll get to our game and then the rest of Ben and Woods on a Friday coming up on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
But first, let me tell you, this weekend, if you are in the market for a new car or truck, probably, look, anytime you have to buy a new car, you're like, oh boy, it's an undertaking. Sedano Ford will make it as easy as they can for you. That's a real important priority over at Sedano Ford. My man, Manny Sedano, local veteran-owned dealership. It's right there in La Mesa. It's beautiful. I was there a couple days ago. Place looks spectacular. Tons of inventory. Want to get you in the car or truck of your dreams, obviously. So they got the Ford F-150 STX Super Crew Cab, just $299 a month. The Ford Bronco Big Ben, $271 a month. The 24 Mustang Mach-E Select, $157 a month. Support San Diego, support local. Visit Sedano Ford in La Mesa. Again, one of San Diego's largest inventories, or you can start your search online at sedanoford.com. If you do go in, make sure to tell them my old pal Woodsy from 97.3, the Fan of Ben and Woods, sent me down here, told me you're going to take good care of me, and they absolutely will. Again, for more details on all of these offers, head on over to sedanoford.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place.
Thanks again to Padres skipper Mike Schilt. A little early manager's report on this Friar Friday. Yu Darvish sounds like he's definitely progressing. Don't expect him to see him on this road trip pitching for the San Diego Padres based on...
Why's that?
Mike Schilt's answer. Well, he did say, they were going to formulate a plan going forward. I guess the plan could involve
I'm going to hold out
quick
hope.
return. But he also was, I think, very honest when he said, we don't know who's pitching yet on Monday for Ryan Berger. I don't think it was a smokescreen. I think honestly, they have multiple options, and they're going to have to let a couple of things play out before they make a final decision.
We got old friend Nick Martinez against us tonight.
Yeah, and he's he's doing what he did for the Padres. Solid back of the rotation starter for the Reds.
16th start for him. He's got a 4.40 ERA. Guys are familiar with him. He's 0-3 against the Pods in his career, Benny. So
this is the one you want to get. You
got to get this one.
Been pitching better
He's
lately.
Definitely the lesser of the three pitchers you're going to see. This weekend.
Right-handed as opposed to the lefties who've given the Padres a little more trouble that they're going to face on Saturday and Sunday. So the old lose the first game, win the next two pattern that we've seen the previous two series. Let's turn that around.
Turn it around.
Take the first one. You have a better chance of winning the series going forward. We'll talk more Padres coming up, but right now we got some callers on the line. Let's play our last game this month of Take on Woods. Last chance to dance. Take on Woods is brought to you by Bay Alarm, security and fire alarms for every business. We got you. Let's go. Last one. Let's go with Todd. You there?
Yeah.
Todd,
good morning.
You ready to play Take on Woods?
Yes, I am.
Are you hoping to get a free Better Buzz gift card out of it as well?
Hopefully.
You already got one. $50 Better Buzz gift card just for playing this
Only
week.
because you asked so nicely.
Just because you asked so nicely. Make sure you check out their Summer Flings menu. Try the coconut best drink ever. It is awesome. And the Blue Crush and OG Deluxe acai bowls, betterbuzzcoffee.com. Paulie will get you $50 gift card either way at the end of the game. But to qualify for the trip to Las Vegas, you need to beat or tie Woods in our 5-question musical trivia challenge. If you do, we will put you into the drawing coming up here in the next week for 2 nights at Resorts World, 2 spa passes at the Awana Spa. It's huge. And food and beverage credits at one of their 5 elevated pools on the Strip. All right, here are your categories, Todd. We've got time is of the essence. It is a 2-second category in which time is the key word in all 5 songs. We've got All White Now, which is 5 song titles that include the word white. And now we also have White Sail, which are 5 bands and artists that include the word white. So time is of the essence, All White Now or White Sail. Todd, which one is it going to be?
Let's try time of the essence.
Time is of
the essence.
Time is of the essence. All right. We have an all 2-second song category today. So listen very carefully. You're going to get 5 little pieces of music. You need to identify both the song title that includes the word time and the artist for each one. And then Woods will go. We'll compare scores. You beat a tie, and we'll put him into the drawing for Las Vegas. If you don't know one, say pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. Probably you got all your files ready? All right. Todd, we're going to put 60 seconds on the clock. The category is time is of the essence. Your time begins when Paulie plays the first song. Good luck, Todd. Let's take on Woods.
Cyndi Lauper, Time After Time.
Correct. Song number 2.
Pass.
Song number 3.
Pass.
Song number 4.
Pass.
All right. Song number 5.
Summertime.
Incorrect. Let's go back to song number 2. You got the first one so fast.
No.
Song
the
number
next one.
3. Song number 3. Time is up. Just the one, Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper. I'm going to leave the other answers for the chat to play again because they weren't getting the music in the chat. So they should have it now. So we'll let the YouTube chat play again. Hang on the line. Either way, Todd, you get the $50 gift card, but I think Woodsy's going to get this one. We'll see. It's an all 2-second song category today. Woods does not get the category. Makes it a little tougher. 60 seconds on the clock. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Todd.
Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper.
Correct. Song number 2.
Doing Time by Sublime.
Correct. Song number 3.
Trick question? Boston.
Yeah.
I'll come back to it.
Song number 4.
For the Longest Time by Billy Joel.
Correct. Song number 5.
Time of the Season by the Zombies.
Correct. Song number 3. The trick question.
Taking My Time by Boston.
It's Long Time by Boston.
Long Time,
actually. But 4 out of 5 gets you the win today over Todd, and time is of the essence. And solid month for you, Woodsy, on Take on Woods.
Thank you.
Got a couple of qualifiers here at the end of the month, though. Remember, Todd, stay on the line for the Better Buzz gift card. Congratulations on that. But we now have our qualified pool for the drawing for Las Vegas now.
Some bangers in there.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
I enjoyed a lot of those songs.
I did too.
Very sharp. All right, we will come back with a new prize when we get back from our Philly trip in July. Thanks to everyone who played Take on Woods this month. And we'll come back with more Padres talk. We've got another hour and a half remaining.
Ben Reed's Raps.
And Ben Reed's Raps coming up as well
buddy.
On San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, we were talking to Darren earlier. He needs to go to trustandwill.com. He is of the age. Even if you If you go, yeah, I don't even know what I do. You really want to take care of it. Don't leave a mess when you're gone. Simply go to trustandwill.com. You're going to go through an easy online process where you just answer some online questions. They will then fill out all the paperwork for you and send it to you. And then you will have it ready to go in case, hopefully in a long time, eventually that you're going to need your will or your trust.
I don't want to guilt you guys into doing this, but I kind of do, actually. If you haven't done it yet, there's really no excuse because they do make it that simple and they make it that affordable as well. Go to trustandwill.com, use code FAN when you check out for 20% off. They will ship you your estate documents for free. Throw them in the desk, forget about them, and then you've knocked that off your plate for forever.
If you have young children, by the way, you can name like guardians, caretakers. You definitely want to get that done. I mean, at the very least, make sure that something is there in writing so you know like who's responsible for your children. You can do all of that online simply without going to a lawyer's office. No billable hours. Just go to trustandwill.com. Use the code FAN at checkout for 20% off.
You got Taylor, by the way.
I do.
Yeah.
He's not going to be happy about that.
He's not
at all.
Neither are you.
Man, that's a sitcom in the waiting.
He's all yours.
Go to trustandwill.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
So our friend Jake Cronenworth spent some time on a national podcast yesterday. AJ Brzezinski and the Foul Territory crew. We'll get a little bit of that audio coming up here in just a second. We're down to the last 82 minutes or so of Ben and Woods before we're gone for our vacation.
Senioritis, man.
It does feel like, staring at the clock now. It's like, ooh, we're getting closer. There was another minute that just went by.
So for those of you that missed it, here's our interview with Mike Schilt. We'll see you guys in 10 days.
We usually have them on at 9, so we'll just replay it for you guys here in about 20
minutes. We'll roll out
minutes.
the VCR on the cart, and we're just going to put in the tape for the last,
why'd you make me come to school if if I'm sitting in here watching weird science anyway? Why don't I just stay home? You really had to drag me out here, get dressed, get showered. Mom dropped me off.
They wouldn't let you watch weird science.
No, it wasn't.
School.
That wasn't a good choice. Oh, I've got to watch Lassie again, or what's the Old Yeller was a big.
That's sad.
I know. We watched that at the end of the school year. What are we doing?
Nothing with nudity, nothing with bad language.
Yeah, that's true.
They'd be pretty G-rated for school movies.
I was watching Liar Liar with the kids last night. Forgot how sexual some parts of that are.
Yep.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah. It was, it's a good movie. He really overacts in it, though. he really goes nuts.
But
no
one does.
Does he, or does he do Jim Carrey?
Yeah, I guess he
1996.
does Jim
no
Carrey
one does
1996.
like fighting against yourself like Jim Carrey does, like in that movie where he wants to tell a lie but can't, and the struggle, like the internal. I think he does that just about as well as anyone.
Both my children laying there as they play the tape of Jennifer Tilly and her male lover. Getting it on straight up. I'm just sitting
riding
there
her like Seattle Slew.
That's right. Yeah. I'm just sitting there watching it going, all right, where's the remote? Just trying to mute it out. Bo goes, what the heck? I go, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're wrestling or
weird.
something. Yeah, it was weird. They're wrestling. It's awful. It's the worst feeling when you're a parent. You're like, all right, I got it.
It's a movie you skip over.
Yeah. I just didn't have the remote. I had one in each arm, and the remote was at the end of the bed.
One's not feeling well, so they kind of don't want to move.
Yeah, one was sick, and so I'm like, oh boy, all right, sorry about this, guys. It's what happens when a man and woman love each other very much.
You're already doing the talk.
Oh yeah,
it's a little early.
Yeah, Jennifer Tilly, by the way, in that movie. Oh yeah, big fan.
She's got that distinctive voice.
She does. She does.
All right, let's check traffic. We'll hear what Jake had to say about Mark Grant with the Foul Territory podcast coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, your 15-minute drive-through oil change. Fire crews are responding to a possible encampment fire in Balboa Park, South 163, near the 5, over to the right shoulder. Stalled vehicle on the Imperial Avenue off-ramp, North 805. Up ahead, a crash has cleared just before Balboa. South on 125 before Spring Street, collision being cleared over to the right shoulder. And an accident has cleared on eastbound 94 near Kenwood. San Diego summers mean beach days, road trips, ball games. Make sure your ride's ready with Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Drive in, stay in your car, and be done in about 15 minutes. No appointment needed. For coupons, visit SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
This hour on The Fan is brought to you by Amazon. If you love deals, you'll love this. Prime Day is lasting 4 days this year. That's 4 days of unbelievable deals in every category you can think of, so you can save on everything you're into. Shop Prime Day, July 8th through the 11th. So I'm assuming Jake was in his hotel room in Cincinnati yesterday.
Yeah.
When he joined the Foul Territory podcast. They stay in nice places. That place looked like a palace.
Yeah, it did
behind
look
him.
really nice.
Really, really sharp. And talked to AJ Przinsky and his crew. You mentioned to Mike Schultz, some nice things about the togetherness of the team.
Yep.
Talked a little bit about the Padres-Dodgers rivalry and how it's more like they want to beat them really badly.
Yeah.
They don't hate them, but they really, really want to beat them when they play those guys. And the Dodgers seemingly feel the same way.
Yeah, Mookie had Jackson Merrill on his podcast. He said the same thing. He said, we just want to win. We want to beat you guys, and you guys want to beat us. And yeah, it's similar. I mean, look, I think for fans that want a little more bloodlust, you certainly got some of it, but it was mostly between the managers and Dave Roberts' violent outburst against our skipper, the innocent Mike Schilt.
So much intent.
It's just intent behind it, and it's
disrespectful,
sinister, and all of that. And so, but yeah, I grew up in those Yankees Red Sox years where it's like, no, somebody may die today on the field. Pedro Martinez is throwing 98-mile-an-hour seeds at guys' heads. He's throwing down elderly men onto the ground. Don Zimmer. I mean, it was nuts, and I don't think I want that between these two teams. I don't. I mean, it was great theater then, but you get somebody hurt, you get Toddy hurt or Manny hurt, somebody like that, you're done. You're screwed. So I like kind of where it's at right now. The games are intense. They're fun when you come out on the winning side of them, certainly. But yeah, it's a different animal.
There was a humorous moment, though, when they asked about, just a certain quirk from the television Padres broadcast. And I hadn't heard Jake ever talk about this.
Me neither. And I felt like maybe I missed something. Like I've heard this referenced over and over, and I'm like, I must have missed
Me
this.
too. I thought the same thing. But
when
apparently
it
we
happened.
didn't.
Our chat, they said, why does Don Arcillo call you adorable little second baseman? Our adorable little second baseman. No, it's Mud Grant. Why does he say that?
I don't know. I ask him about it all the time, and he has no good answer about why it is. And he comes in the clubhouse and he's wearing his bucket hat. He looks like he's on the TV show Gilligan's Island, so I call him Gilligan. But I don't know. That he said that last year in spring training, and I was like, what does that even mean?
No one wants to be. I mean, if you're a grown man, I don't think you want to be called adorable.
Sure, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Adorable.
Yeah. That guy's adorable.
Does that imply
There's a little bit of a negative connotation there.
I wish my wife
kind
would
of
call
small,
me
though?
adorable.
Doesn't adorable imply kind of a
Cute little
small,
bub.
a little undersized?
Yeah, maybe.
Because it's an adorable little second baseman, too. That's
Little.
a double.
It's true.
That's a double, like adorable little. Makes him sound like a toddler.
Kind of, yeah. I don't know where that stemmed from. And every time Mud says it, I go, I must have missed a game or something, or an inning or something where
I'm trying to think. You wouldn't call like Joe Musgrove or
no.
Jason Hayward was a big dude.
No,
Maldonado. You wouldn't call them adorable.
I think Tyler Wade's adorable.
He's kind of a smaller guy.
But I mean, adorable.
Luis Ariz
rankings?
is adorable.
Yeah,
smaller.
His little first baseman's glove.
Yeah.
His baseball pants.
Yeah,
Dylan Cease is tall, but
he's
somewhat
adorable.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
Michael King's kind of adorable.
He's adorable too. We have a lot of adorable guys.
But why
no,
are we?
like you would call him handsome or good looking, sharp. Anybody, I think, can be sharp.
I'd
I
rather
do
be
think the
sharp than
adorable. I
adorable.
think
I'd rather be sharp than
if
adorable,
Jake's
too.
6'4", I don't think Mark Grant's calling him adorable little second baseman.
Yeah, it sounds like it bothers Jake a little bit.
It does.
It sounds like it does.
I'd be careful if I was Mud going forward. He might want to come up with a different nickname.
They have a lot of bits sometimes, and I go, I must have missed something.
It's hard to follow all.
The Jimmy Grant is the best. There's nothing better
That is
than Mud's
amazing.
brother, Jimmy Grant. And every year, I don't really like playing the Nationals now for obvious reasons because we have to hear about that stupid trade again. But the Jimmy Grant, Mark's brother, it gets me every single time. Every time they flash to that guy in the dugout, I start dying laughing, and then Don starts laughing. It gets me every year, and I look forward to that.
I'm trying to now. Do we have any idea what his real name?
Yeah, they say it all the time,
They
and
do say it
I don't
sometimes.
remember. But it could be his
He
twin.
does, like without the glass. I mean, it could definitely be.
It's identical.
Mark Grant.
Yeah, it's so funny every single year. Every year.
So,
Jimmy Grant.
Speaking of the Dodgers and the Padres rivalry, there is one last rivalry to determine here before the All-Star game, and that is who will start at third base for the National League in Atlanta in a couple of weeks as they announce the final voting, and it's going to come down at third base to the leading vote getter, Manny Machado, and the number 2 vote getter in the National League, Max Muncy.
I absolutely detest this bit. I detest it. Who had the most votes, Ben?
Manny Machado.
He's your
By a
starting third
wide-
baseman.
Wide margin.
What are we doing here?
It does. So I understand, kind of why they do it.
Why?
I think they're trying to mitigate the advantage of the big market teams a little bit.
By giving the second biggest market the chance to stuff the ballot
I think
box?
the idea is that, yeah, the Dodgers are going to get tons of fans and people voting, but once we get someone against a Dodger, the rest of the country can jump in and vote for the non-Dodger and try to get some into the game. In this case, though, I hope it doesn't end up hurting Manny because he finished so far ahead of Max Muncy. It's like maybe it shouldn't even go to a second vote. Muncy, of course, has the recency bias of hitting like 2 grand slams. Manny's numbers are still way better than Muncy's over the course of the season, but Muncy's kind of caught up a little bit in just the last week by hitting 2 grand slams and driving in, 15 runs or whatever he has. Doesn't make him more of an all-star. Obviously, Manny has a gigantic advantage defensively and just in the skill that he brings to the ballpark. But Manny's the only Padre who made the final vote for the All-Star game to be a starter in Atlanta.
I don't like it. Also, fine. Just send Muncy. At this point, All-Star games, I love the All-Star game. The actual game. I love the home run derby. I'm a big fan of it. But this, the voting part of it has really turned me off in the last couple of years. It's not an interesting conversation to me. Yeah, man, just let the 7 Dodgers go start and we'll call it a day. And Dave's going to be their manager. If I'm Manny, honestly, I want him to be named an all-star, but also a week off for Manny Machado would be actually better than playing in the all-star game. But he deserves it.
I don't know. The Dodger for me that kind of bothered me more was how Teoscar Hernandez was second in the outfield vote. I have less of a problem with Andy Pages actually getting in. He's also one of the 6 finalists. Fernando Tatis Jr. was not.
Yep.
He finished 8th in the voting, so he will not be starting or perhaps even going to the All-Star game, which would be a real shock considering the start that he got off to this season. His numbers still look pretty good.
I think his WRC plus 129.
Yeah,
I mean, he's still got all-star.
He still has all-star credentials, but his path to the all-star game all of a sudden has gotten a lot dicier after not making the top 8 in the vote among the fans. Perhaps the players will have a different vote because they also vote, and if the players runner-up, if the player's choice is already going, then the player's runner-up also gets to go. I wonder how that will work in the outfield.
Yeah, I would love a week off for our players, honestly, to try to make a deep run into October. Corinne wants to know any news on how stupid the uniforms will be this year. Actually,
They're going back.
They're going back the old school way, so they'll be wearing their jersey.
See, I've been out on the All-Star game for a little while now across all sports. It's kind of lost its luster to me. The other sports are even more of a joke than MLB. But the uniforms, that at least gets me to at least tune in and check them out.
Isn't it
because
wild
that's what
that
we grew up with?
we're excited watching uniforms that we see on a daily basis? We're more excited about that. Oh, look at him. He's in his uniform. Yeah, it's the same one he wears for 162.
It's not getting to see the uniforms that we always see. It's getting to see the mishmash of all of them together at the same time. I loved that. The part of the game of everyone wearing different uniforms, because it's the only sport where you can do that. If you tried that in basketball, no one would know who to pass. Wait, is he my teammate or is he on the other team?
Yeah.
In football, it would be an absolute disaster. You have to wear the same colors because you wouldn't know exactly who's on your team. And in baseball, it's quite obvious who's on your team and who's not on your team. So it doesn't matter what they're wearing out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many guys on the team, for us that you look at and say, these guys are probably deserving some bullpen arms, certainly. But man, I'd rather have those guys kicking it for a week, getting their body and their mind right for a big second half.
I'm curious now, if you're starting to sour on the All-Star game a little bit, is there any thought in your head of that debate of when to do the World Baseball Classic? Like, could they do it at least every few years in July? Like maybe even more extended break than just the 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Like a 2-week break in the middle of the season. Guys that want to play in the WBC could get it done. Everybody else gets a nice full reset for the second half. Is that something at least you would like Major League Baseball to consider?
I don't know that there's a right answer.
I'm not sure either.
Because at the beginning of the year, when guys aren't ramped up, they're going out and throwing max
velo. It would be such a disadvantage for the guys who are pitching and playing to do that where everyone else is getting the time off. I just don't know. Although I had the amazing revelation. Are uniforms in baseball the biggest eyewash thing that is? You don't actually need to wear the same thing as everyone else.
No, you don't.
Baseball.
You could wear whatever you want.
If you felt more comfortable wearing
shorts and a t-shirt,
shorts and whatever, it doesn't matter. But to be a team, of course, you all have to wear the same thing. You have to be in uniform. But no, it really isn't at all necessary to play the game of baseball to wear what the other guys are
Everybody
wearing.
makes fun of managers because baseball is the only sport where the managers wear the same uniform. And it does. If you really just take a step back, it looks kind of ridiculous.
Right. If Phil Jackson was there wearing a basketball
be the greatest, actually.
Shorts.
But like, how weird would it look if Schulte was just wearing like a Padres t-shirt and like some joggers? I don't know that it would look all that different. It would take some getting used to.
They wear the pullovers, and it always looks sharp.
I mean, in the old days,
but the pants
Connie
is what
Mack
gets me.
would wear a suit. In the old days, the managers would dress up for the job.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Schulte in a
dress for the job you want.
I like what the NBA does.
Right field,
the NBA coaches are a little bit more relaxed now.
I don't want to see Schulte in a Men's Warehouse. Hey, you don't like the way you look, boy? I guarantee it.
Guarantee it.
Yeah, just in there, the oversized suit on. Looking like Shaq in the draft years ago.
Final hour of Ben and Woods will contain a special Philadelphia edition of Ben Reed's Raps ahead here on 97.3 The Fan. I have no idea what's going on in our YouTube chat this morning.
It is wild.
But everyone's user's name is totally messed up. At least most people's are. Like random numbers thrown on, names changed, and we have no clue.
People like this morning, right when the show started, they're like, hey, what the hell's going on with the YouTube channel?
Sorry about
I don't know. I didn't do it. I think maybe Google's having some issues.
Yeah.
Little glitch.
YouTube glitch. It's weird though. It looks like spam bots in there. It's wild.
Constantly. Everybody's a spam bot today.
It's very, very strange. Sorry.
Appreciate you sticking around despite the
thank you.
The username difficulties this morning. Then every once in a while, someone's just their regular name and just randomly is fine. So yeah, we've got no idea. This is not Paulie's fault, even though he's also our technical director, in addition to being our executive producer and design director here at 97.3 The Fan. This is not a Paulie Reindl issue.
So you put up an Instagram post yesterday. Me and you really have been killing it with the social media for our clients.
Hashtag sponsored.
Hashtag sponsored.
It was nice of Better Buzz to come in and bring in the samples of their good stuff
now
this week.
Now people understand why Paulie runs. If you saw your Instagram and my reel.
What was wrong with my Instagram post?
It was
wonderful.
There was so much to unpack from it.
So, yes, it even gave me a suggested song that I could just put in. So I just went with the suggested.
You did. And what was it?
Feeling all right.
Joe Cocker.
All right. Feeling all right.
That one from Joe Cocker?
Okay, I'll go. All right. The Better Buzz Coffee does make me feel all right. So it seems appropriate. Good suggestion, Instagram. Thanks for your help.
There's a green light on your head.
I was wondering where that came from. That was more of a bad photo issue, I think.
You're doing a weird thing
like
with
the
your
green
face.
flash at sunset you never see, but it just happened to happen on the top of my head.
You're doing a very weird face. I don't know what the face is. Like,
I'm happy.
It looks like you're saying,
delicious.
There it is.
See, look how it added, though, the Better Buzz. I was able to type the letters.
He typed Better Buzz in it. It looks like, well, me or you did it. That's what it looks like. It doesn't look like one that Paulie would do, is all I'm saying. I'm not making fun because I did the worst reel in history the day before. So again, this is why we're trying, Paulie. I'm sure you appreciate the effort.
I appreciate the effort.
Taking some stuff off of your plate. The green light is what tripped me out, and then the face. The two different Better Buzz drinks in front of him. One is purple. What
Summer Flings menu.
Okay.
Yeah, they got the different
One's
options
purple, one
there.
is
I
green.
thought it looked summery with all the different colors and everything.
And 97.3 in the background.
I put that there on purpose
I know
to
you
show
did.
that here I am at our 97.3 The Fan studios.
It's why when
Put a lot of
clients
thought into this.
they probably just think here at Odyssey that I'm or we are just lazy when we don't want to do it. No, that's not it. Hey, can you do a social media post? It's not. It's because we look like buffoons when we do it. And please understand, it's not a matter of want to. It's not a matter of, they don't pay me enough. That's not it. It's we don't want to look like jackasses. And we absolutely do.
I think we're comparing ourselves a lot nowadays, especially on social media. There are a lot of feeds where that's like the full-time job.
Of course.
Now. And they're going out and they're putting in 8, 10, 12 hours a day, crafting, engaging posts that they want to go viral and, spreading content.
They make money from it, tons of money.
It's about food or golf or whatever. I don't know. Those are things that are in my feed and they're making money off it. That's their job all day long.
Yeah.
That's not my job all day long.
This is what I want to focus. I want to keep the focus right here on the radio.
And my post is never going to look as good. They've got a team with lighting and editors and everything, and it looks fantastic. And I feel I can't compete with that.
Girk Dentley says you don't need social media for that to look like buffoons. So thank you.
Not wrong.
You're not wrong, Girk. But it's just
might not be his real name, of course, because this is a weird chat name.
But it's always been about, hey man, I'm trying to look like less of a moron. So please don't put me in situations where I know I'm going to make a goofy face or do a terrible reel where I'm wheezing into the phone. Come to the blood drive. It's not what it is.
This is a fitting transition here because as we're getting ready, we got 55 minutes left, and then we're home free, heading off to Philadelphia on Sunday, and I told you guys I have an idea at least for a social media post from our trip to Philly once we get back. And the idea stemmed from, I was just scrolling Instagram one day and I came across this account where this guy who's very, very talented photographer, he was showing video clips of him walking up to people in an airport that clearly are going on some sort of a trip, maybe like skis or something they're carrying, like you're doing something fun. And he's like, hey, where are you guys heading to? And they're like, oh, I'm going to the Antarctica for a cruise tour or whatever. And he's like, hey, can I give you this disposable camera, which those are back apparently.
Yep.
Can I give you this disposable Kodak camera and a self-addressed envelope? You take as many pictures as you can with this film on your trip, throw it in this envelope, send the camera back to me, and then I will develop them and turn them into a cool video for you guys. And they're like, sure. And the videos look incredible.
Yeah, it looks so
it's
well done.
insane how these cameras that were like $6.99 back in the day, they look so good still. Better than your iPhone even in some, depending on how you want to view it.
Oh, my iPhone that looks like it's covered in sunscreen.
Yeah, these are going to be better.
So yes,
so I have
way better.
obtained
Nice.
3 of
Oh, you
these
got 'em.
Kodak disposable cameras for us, and we'll each get to we'll see Philadelphia through our own lenses.
And you'll put it all together
And then
at
I'll
the
put
end.
it together when we get back, because I think when you take them to like CVS or Walgreens, you can get them digitalized and on a thumb drive
Nice.
or a Google link or
I
something.
like that.
After the segment, do I throw this back to you so I don't forget it and you make
Yeah,
sure
probably
that
a
you
good
bring
idea.
it? That's
You want me to
smart.
bring
Yeah.
it for you?
Now, here's the
I'll
thing.
get it. I'll get it.
You guys remember, you could go to any store and get a disposable camera for a trip. It was like $5, $6. Any guesses on how much?
This Fun Saver Kodak
$12.99.
Nah. $8.99.
Try like $35 a pop.
Each?
Yeah.
It comes with film. 800 millimeter.
All right.
800 film.
Do you
whatever
use
that
the
means.
flash or no? You don't. If it's daytime.
Does it
not in
do it
daytime.
automatically? If everything old becomes new again, I want to bring back the ones where you have to put the hood over and you've got the big, you hold up the big flash.
You wanna
like
wear a
old
hood?
Stuff. No, you know those. You know how they used to do pictures and they get the camera under the big giant.
Read the room, Ben.
All right.
I want to wear my hood again.
I'm not walking around with you in Philly.
No, it's gonna be scary. Yeah, the one bulb
Manual flash.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So we have to decide whether or not we put the flash in.
Yeah, your iPhone does that for you.
I've gotten used to the
Yeah.
iPhone making that decision for me.
All right, excited.
I am.
When are we wrapping here?
No.
Okay.
No,
What we're
next
doing here?
segment. We're taking a look at the Padres
Talking about
series
social
against the
media.
Cincinnati Reds. Coming up, starting tonight, 4:10 first pitch. 3:10 EcoWater SoCal pregame show with Sam Levitt. We mentioned Dylan Cease going to face old friend Nick Martinez in game 1 of the series. I do believe we are normal on the broadcast this weekend. After a couple of weekends of Apple TV and Fox, I think we're back to a normal schedule. Tomorrow's game is kind of early at 1:10 p.m., so
Okay.
like 4:10 in Cincinnati. Randy Vasquez pitching against Andrew Abbott, the lefty. And then a morning start on Sunday, game 3 of the series, Stephen Kolek against Nick Lodolo, another lefty at 10:40 a.m. So 3 different start times is definitely something to keep an eye on because it gets confusing to keep track sometimes in the baseball season.
Yeah, man, Reds are a really, really interesting team. They have one of the game's most dynamic players in Ellie De La Cruz. Now, with the dynamic aspect that he brings, I was watching a play the other day. He'll make an error or two at short, Benny. He has an absolute cannon for an arm, and I mean a cannon. So he thinks he can make every throw, which leads to some wild throws. You have to take advantage of any mistakes that Cincinnati makes, and you have to play clean baseball. If you're the San Diego Padres, again, they're a good team. They're a young team. They have a really great manager. They play the game hard. They play the game really hard in Cincinnati. So it's going to be, as every single series is going to be, a challenge, man.
So TJ Friedel, their center fielder, has also been playing at a close to all-star level. But beyond those two guys, their lineup actually hasn't been as good as they hoped.
They got those weird grinders in it.
Spencer Steer, Matt McClain.
Yep.
Gavin Lux has done
been really
okay
good for them.
I mean, the combined WAR of Spencer Steer, Matt McClain, their second baseman, so it's first and second base, and Gavin Lux. And if you want to throw in their third baseman, Santiago Espinal, the combined WAR of all 4 of those players is -0.6.
Wow.
So they're really not getting a lot of production outside of those top two guys in their order in Ellie De La Cruz and TJ Friedel. Now, we just saw a Washington Nationals team that did some surprising damage, at least in the first game and a half of the series, in the bottom of the order to the Padres rotation. So that's something to keep an eye on. Definitely you got to be careful with De La Cruz. You don't want Friedel to beat you, but you need to keep the guys who are not producing at the bottom of their order, keep them not producing. For the Cincinnati Reds right now.
Yeah, no question about it. So again, it's going to be important to see who is actually going to be in the lineup for the San Diego Padres. We asked the skipper Mike Schilt earlier about if Xander's going to be back, and I think he said they're optimistic on it. But when you hear that he injured the same shoulder that he injured last year, and it's just kind of bothering him, man, it's like he had that 8-game stretch or whatever it was, 9-game stretch that he was just, you couldn't get him out. It was insane and fun. And, you need Xander Bogaerts to help this team get to its eventual goal. But it's rough. It's rough. If he's out, I don't know what you do. It's Jose Iglesias back there again.
I think Abbott is the pitcher that I'm probably most worried about as a lefty with a sub-1 whip. So he's allowing less than a base runner per inning. When Padres faced him last year, he shut him out over 7 innings back in May 21st, in a 2-0 win for the Cincinnati Reds. Gave up just 4 hits in those 7 innings. So he was someone who's been tough on the Padres in the past. That's tomorrow's starter.
Now, the good thing is, when you go play in Cincinnati, it is it's an easier place to hit home runs. Now, you would think that they would have more home run hitters on their team. They don't. They have Ellie De La Cruz, I think, leads them with
18.
With 18 bombs. Next closest is Matt McClain with 9. Yeah. So, this is a good. Think Gavin Sheets. Think Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, getting a couple pops this weekend off of Nick Martinez tonight. He'll serve it up. Yeah, man, this is a good place to hit, but it's also a tough place to pitch.
It does feel like it's a ballpark where the Padres have hit well. I don't know if that's simply because, you get out of the NL West, Petco, Oracle,
the
Dodger
weird
Stadium,
weather,
and you get somewhere that's usually hot and a good place for left-handed. Remember Yonder Alonso used to hit no home runs, and then he goes to Cincinnati, he'd hit 5, and then he'd hit none the rest of the season. It is a good place. Even Luis Arraez can pull a home run in Cincinnati. So it is a place where you can kind of get going offensively, and that's something that I would love to see from the Padres in this series.
We will not be seeing former Padre legend Connor Joe here for a very, very short time, local boy. He is on the IL with hand, foot, and mouth disease, as most fairly new fathers will experience once or twice in their life. So we'll miss Hunter Green as well. He's going to be out. He's on the IL with a groin strain. But yeah, I mean, look, you're a better team than the Cincinnati Reds. You are a better team. You need to take 2 or 3 absolutely before you go to Philly to face a very tough Phillies team.
All right, when we come back, I'm going to get the chains out.
Yes.
And we will, at least for one time only, return to Ben Reed's Raps in honor of our trip to Philadelphia. You said Meek Mill, huh?
Yeah, Philly legend, Meek Mill.
All right, that is coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 0000466. For a full list of games and rules, played at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
This weekend would be a great time to go down and visit 7 Mile Casino. As I mentioned, I was just down there yesterday. I feel like I'm proud of the place. I walk around and show it off. Isn't this nice?
It's my spot.
My son, I go, it's nice that it was light because I went during the day. They got the windows. I was looking out at the patio. I mean, it was nice enough that they put a giant resort about half a mile away. You can see it in the distance. So Chula Vista is a good spot. It's on the west side of the freeway there, and the food was spectacular. I had an unbelievably good lunch at the Kung Pao Chicken.
What Jack have?
Jack got the chicken with Brussels sprouts and potatoes, balsamic glazed chicken. We also shared a Caesar salad and got some salt and pepper wings.
Those are fantastic.
Those were tasty too.
There. It is really a fantastic dining experience, but also, you get a little extra juice by sitting down playing some California style blackjack, some Pai Gow, some Texas Hold'em, or some Baccarat in a slot machine free environment, a smoke free environment.
So the Baccarat tables are right by the restaurant, and at one point there was this huge roar and cheer.
Big raucous.
I don't know exactly how. I didn't know Baccarat had those moments, but they were happy. Something happened while we were there. If you want to have those moments for yourself, check it out this weekend. Go for Sunday, Saturday brunch, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. is another great time to check out Sammy's at 7 Mile, just down the 5, 7 Mile Casino, 7 minutes from downtown.
Players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place.
We had a couple different options for Philly rappers, Ben. And I was not going to let you off the hook with Will Smith, because I'm sure out of all the rappers in history, it's probably one of your favorites.
Yeah, I can do some Will Smith.
I bet.
You did some.
You
one
did some,
time.
yeah.
We
Did
were
he do Miami, maybe?
He's getting jiggy with it, I
I'm
think.
getting jiggy with it, of course.
Because I have him going, bicka bow, bow, bow.
Which I'm sure he actually enjoyed when he
You know what it was?
heard it.
You and I were out at Fantasy Camp.
Yep.
Fantasy Camp, doing the show in Arizona. He was still here in studio on a Friday, and we said, all right, Ben, you can pick the song since we're not there.
So that's what he picked.
And this SOB picked
Yeah, Will
Getting
Smith.
Jiggy with it.
Very on brand for you.
God.
Paulie, are we ready?
I am ready.
All right, let's go.
Just jump right in. I'm dressed.
What's the name of the song again?
This is Going Bad by
Going
Meek
Bad
Mill.
By Meek Mill. Ready?
Ready.
I did not see the lyrics until I hand them
first
to
time.
him across the room.
Got glasses, just to be sure.
Here we go.
Whoa, whoa, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. I could fit like 80 racks in my Amiris. 80 racks. Me and Drizzy back to back. It's getting scary back to back. If you, Evan, with my ops, just don't come near me. Get out of my way. Put some bands all on your head like Jason Terry. Richard Milley costs a Lambo. That's a Lambo. Known to keep the baddest bitches on commando. Salute. Every time I'm in my trap, I move like Rambo. Extended. Ain't of neighborhood in Philly that I can't go to. That's a Fendi. For real. She said, "Oh, you rich, you rich, bitch. I graduated. Call me Big Fish, ballin'. I got Lori Harvey on my wish list. That's Lori. That's the only thing I want for Christmas. True story. Ooh. I've had my way out here. Yeah, know the facts. Facts. You ain't living that, as you say. Yeah, we know that's cap. That's cap. You ain't got to ask me when you see me. No, I'm strapped, Bert. DCOVO, we back again. We going plat. Oh.
Very well done. I mean, you didn't miss a beat from how you used to do it. It was perfect.
It's been a while, but it's kind of like riding a bike.
You said you can go in any neighborhood in Philly. That's, yeah. We'll see.
Bring that
what
candle,
neighborhoods do
bring
they
the
have
chain.
in Philly? We're going to check out some different Philly neighborhoods.
We are. Check out a bunch of them.
Maybe see where Meek Mill grew up.
Potentially.
I'm excited, man.
I'm excited too.
I was looking around yesterday. I sent you guys this website. It has like self-guided kind of walking tours of like just what to see and kind of, I don't want to walk around aimlessly. I don't want to be like, wait, which way are we supposed to go? North or south? You know what I mean? I want to have some sort of an idea, but our hotel, like if you walk 15 minutes in one direction, you got the Liberty Bell, Ben Franklin stuff, like all the historical stuff. You walk 15 minutes in the other direction from our hotel, you got the Rocky Steps, Museum of Art, and stuff like that. So we're really in a good central location.
I heard the museum there is incredible.
Yeah, there's a bunch of museums
outstanding.
That look really
Oh, we're going actually in. We're not just going to the steps.
Yeah,
I didn't
we're
realize
going into a
we were
museum.
going in or
Yeah,
not. All right,
of
get some
course.
culture.
Get some
while we're
culture. Somebody said go to Kensington. Absolutely not. I heard that's one of the worst neighborhoods ever. And I've seen like a YouTube or a Instagram reel of it, and I said, "Oh my God, this is not a place you want to be." I don't think you can go in any neighborhood in Philly. Not that one.
He says he can.
Goose says I should go dressed like this with the chains and the kangle.
Please wear that.
Call me when you get your phone.
Please wear it to the game.
Have some street cred while I'm there.
Yeah. Well, you have it. I mean, you have the look for sure. Bishop's Collar, cool little bar by the art museum. Yeah, there's a bunch of restaurants. I mean, you couldn't possibly hit, you got to get like a little bit of each, the local flair. We're going to go to that Mafia restaurant for dinner. Excited about that. We'll have a big meeting in there. And it's going to be great. Can't wait. Of course, the cheesesteaks at the ballpark. Hearing a lot about roast pork. You have to get the roast pork there. I guess the best place to get roast pork is closed while we're there. They're on
John's. They're on
vacation
break,
or something.
We can go to Nick's.
I didn't realize pretzels were such a big
deal.
Pretzels are a huge deal. We're definitely getting pretzels.
Love pretzels.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beer, it's kind of wasted carbs and calories, but you got to do it.
I hear they're really
good.
good.
They're
incredible.
When we're on a walk or something, so if you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, all we get here are the like frozen pretzels that are just microwave. They make them like fresh and good in Philly.
We're not going to Pat's or Gino's. We've already heard, all of the horror stories.
We've got better recommendations.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. It's going to be fun. It'll be a long flight. We will not be taking the train.
We're going to see our buddy
I
John
thought we
Marks.
were waiting and deciding at the moment, like what makes more sense.
No, we're taking an Uber. It's going to be a 6-hour flight. It's going to be 100 degrees or dumping rain. We're taking an Uber.
There's a roof on the train.
You take the train all
you actually
want.
could probably stay drier on the train. You probably have to walk out somewhere to get the Uber where the train's right there in the terminal.
Pretty sure it's covered. My guess is that it's covered.
I think we'll be okay.
I guess. But yeah,
I'm taking an Uber.
I'm
Whoever wants
taking
to
an
come
Uber
with
as well.
me,
I'll
it's
jump in
fine.
with you, Paulie. We'll see you at the hotel.
Maybe.
On this train by himself.
He's like, guys, I'm in Steubenville.
I'm in Jersey.
Somehow I ended up in Jersey. I did end up. First time I ever flew into Philly Airport. We were supposed to go west toward Williamsport. I was covering. Somehow we ended up in Jersey. I don't think we should be going across this big river because I think this is the wrong state.
Big river. Were you driving? Somebody else was driving?
Yeah, Jeff, my camera guy, was driving, and I was trying to navigate, and I go,
"Oh, no.
This bridge is a bad sign because I believe the other side of this bridge, the Schuylkill River, is New Jersey, and that means we're definitely going in the wrong direction.
I think
we're
it's the
going 4
Delaware.
hours the other way. There's the Delaware and the Schuylkill. There's 2 rivers actually there. Maybe the Delaware actually. Yeah, you're right. Delaware across the Delaware, like Washington.
Oh, let's
into
reenact
Jersey.
it. Get a little boat.
The big triangle hat.
Get a boat tour.
The 3 of us.
Here's what I won't do.
Delaware.
Have you guys have done this before? And we're not going to get suckered into it. I don't know if they have it there, but the paddle boat stuff. I'm never getting on a paddle boat again. It's way too much work for not a lot of payoff. Not a lot of payoff at all. So I'm going to pass on that. But I would do a river tour. That'd be sick. It'd be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you see good sights from the harbor, and that was the center of American economy for the first, few hundred years
That's
of
right.
our country's existence, the harbor in Philadelphia.
And there's all that history there, and I'm most excited to go to Wawa, which is their, what is it, like their
It's the
7-Eleven?
7-Eleven,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm excited about it. I want to see the inside.
The pretzel stand at Reading Terminal is next level cheesesteak pretzels.
Oh yeah, they do stuff in their pretzels sometimes as well.
Man,
It's going to be just heartburn. I can heartburn, diarrhea, all of it.
I got a full thing of Pepsid yesterday.
wait.
Packing my DOP kit.
Cannot wait. All right, one more break, boys.
Yeah, Randall Report got some headlines from the world of sports. Also, update you on 2 major baseball milestones that should be happening soon. We'll get to that coming up. Last segment of Ben and Woods next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The.
Hey players, Things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the player's place.
All right, got a little. Well, you can make a little wager on it if you'd like. Manny Machado versus Clayton Kershaw. So last night, Clayton Kershaw got within 3 strikeouts of 3,000 for his career. Manny Machado is at 1,991 career hits. Looked it up. Looks like Clayton's next start will be Wednesday night. Presumably he'll get his 3. Not necessarily. It's not guaranteed, but
Are they playing
White Sox
at Dodger Stadium? Boy, they've had
Manny
the
will
gauntlet,
have-
haven't they? Rockies into the White Sox. Who's next?
Manny
Marlins?
will have 6 games between now and then to get 9 hits and beat Clayton Kershaw to the milestone. Who do you got? I know you got Manny.
Taking Manny.
9's a lot though in 6
That is
games.
a lot.
That's a good
This is Manny
stretch.
Machado.
It's a good run.
I'd like to think Manny can get there before Clayton gets to his.
Man,
but
he did not have a great series against.
No, he didn't.
Against the Nationals at all. And had some. He had some pitches.
Did you just have the one hit?
Yeah, the one hit.
Yeah.
He had some pitches to hammer too. You could tell he was like, oh, just clear his head for a day or two and get back there tonight against Nick Martinez.
we really wanted him to do it while we were there Monday or Tuesday, even in Philly.
But that would mean
he's going to need to go on a real tear in Cincinnati and have a chance at that early in the series. Now you could just go, 1 for 4, 2 for 4, 2 for 4, and all of a sudden you're 4 away going into the Philly series. It's not out of the realm of possibility that he gets it pretty quickly. A couple good days and you're really close. But if he wants to beat Clayton, which it doesn't really matter if you do or not, but it's just a little fun thing I was looking at. I wonder who's going to get there first.
I don't think he cares, but I know he wants to get it.
Get it right after Clayton, you upstage him. Everyone talks about Clayton for a minute, and then Manny gets his 2,000th hit, and
exactly.
you take all of his good attention away.
Paulie?
Don't be disrespectful.
All right, we'll check traffic, and then Paulie's got his Rilo report to wrap up our week next here on The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, your 15-minute drive-through oil change. Speaking of car maintenance, got a couple of stalled vehicles. One's blocking the HOV lane northbound 15 before Felicita, and on the South 5 Coastline Lacoste Avenue off-ramp, reports of a stall over to the right shoulder. Been a while since I reported a ladder in lanes. Who did it? Northbound side of the 5, right before the Aliso Creek Rest area. It's reportedly in middle lanes. San Diego summers mean beach days, road trips, ball games. Make sure your ride's ready with Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Drive in, stay in your car, and be done in about 15 minutes. No appointment needed. For coupons, visit SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danik with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest. Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a
All right.
All right.
All right.
Happy Friday, gentlemen. We've almost made it. Let's get started with a little local news here. Former San Diego State star Lamont Butler, he did not hear his name in the first round or the second round of the NBA draft, but he did sign a 2-way contract with the Atlanta Hawks yesterday. I believe Mark Ziegler from the Union Tribune had that story first, scooping all those Kentucky reporters.
I think Lamont Butler posted it on his Instagram, so that was pretty much a confirmation.
I
there.
actually saw Miles Bird posted a video of Lamont Butler making the announcement with friends and family at some sort of party. He had a microphone and a bunch of people were waiting. He's like, it's the Atlanta Hawks, and they all went crazy. So good for him. Speculation is that this puts a little bit of pressure maybe on Trae Young, who's been with the Hawks now for his entire career. And Lamont Butler going to be there to put a little bit of pressure on him because with the 2-way contract, they can freely move him back and forth between the G League and the NBA. His first test comes up in NBA Summer League in Las Vegas in mid-July.
Yeah, man, pulling for him. Good dude, biggest shot in history here. You know, I mean, absolutely want the best for him. I know Adam is probably very excited as the Atlanta Hawks, the only maybe Atlanta Hawks fan in the San Diego metropolitan area.
Possible.
It's very possible.
It's not a lot of them out there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Lamont Butler had an okay season with Kentucky to wrap up his college career.
Yeah, really good with his first year, right?
Yeah.
He was like their leader.
He was definitely a leader all the way through. He worked through some injury issues. He averaged 11.4 points per game. I mean, he was never considered a major college star other than obviously for the shot.
Yeah, buddy.
Which will
Got
live
that forever,
not just
man.
in Aztecs history, but that's one of the biggest shots in college basketball history.
It's unbelievable.
And it happened here, it happened for a
unbelievable.
team here, which is so cool.
Yep.
All right. We missed Don't Do This today. Otherwise, we probably would have had this update in the NFL. We were talking about Wander Franco and his troubles. Is he ever going to play in the MLB again? In the NFL, we've talked about Justin Tucker and all of the many instances and allegations against him of inappropriate conduct while getting massaged. And the NFL announced yesterday that he will be getting a 10-week ban from the NFL. Now, he was released from the Ravens. I don't know if another team is going to sign him. If they do, they will only be signing him for the final 7 games of the regular season. I don't know if he's playoff eligible. I think he will be, but whatever team signs or wants to sign Justin Tucker, they're going to be missing him for the first 10 games.
A dozen massage therapists in and around the Baltimore area. And again, obviously you never know what somebody's really like. That one took me by surprise when that came out.
Yeah,
So,
and
he's a free agent. He can sign with anybody.
Yeah.
He could even do training camp and preseason games. It's 10 regular season, the first 10 NFL regular season games.
Now, remember, he had his worst season of his career.
Yeah.
So
it was a football decision to cut him.
That's
Right.
what they said.
That's what they
I
said.
think it was an everything decision.
It actually
he made it a fairly easy decision.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It kind of worked out for them.
The
Baltimore
NFL
Ravens.
does allow you to serve your suspension even if you're not on a team. So he will likely, serve it out and then he can sign wherever he wants if anyone is interested. But he'll have to. That's the one position where you can really prove yourself you don't need to play in a game. Like in baseball, you can't go take batting practice and go, this guy,
Sign him.
we're signing him. He's the best player ever. And then, he goes up in a real game situation. He's terrible. But field goal kicker, all right. And he just made one in practice from 62 yards. pretty
Sign
confident
him
he
up.
can do the same thing in the game because it's really not that different. There's pressure, but
happens all the time.
You know, they can judge a field goal kicker simply by putting him on the field, give him 10 kicks, and go, "Yeah, you're our guy."
Yeah, welcome to the squad.
I would imagine if he shows that he's still somewhat Justin Tucker, he may get another chance. And the only reason why I say that, as creepy as he is, none of the accusations have come in the last 10 years. They're all
before that.
They stopped in 2016, so last 9 years, which would say, okay, guy was a total idiot, when he was younger. Maybe he learned a lesson and moved on, and now it just all came out. Now he
That's
certainly
the
deserves
logic
to be
for
suspension.
signing.
That could be the logic for signing him. That would be my only thought, that why he might still get another chance.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But that's
Don't care really.
That is the sports. Probably won't talk about it until maybe a team signs him, but we'll see. And then finally, I always like to give you guys these the latest TikTok trends and just gauge your opinions on them. A lot of them are really stupid and they're eating Tide Pods and we don't know what's going on. This one maybe a little bit more useful. If anybody is having problems they feel with too much time on your phone, there is a new trend going around called landline mode. And it's to limit your use on your phone. So what landline mode is a mom on TikTok came up with it a while ago, and Google said that searches for landline mode have gone through the roof over the last few weeks. And all it is, it's a custom setting. You can change your focus mode. If you have an iPhone, I think you can do the same on Android as well. You can change your focus modes so like I have it where at a certain point, I think at 9:15 p.m., my phone switches to do not disturb.
I see it all the time, and it skeeves me out to send him a text with Paulie has
notification silence. Yeah,
like,
it means don't bug me.
But I'm going to send it anyway.
You are.
Yeah, and it still comes through, right?
You can make it so like your favorites, like family or anything like that, they will go through no matter what.
Am I one of your favorites?
You didn't make it so Woods can get through?
I think I can block him just entirely.
Block me entirely after 9 p.m.
Yeah. They have sleep mode, which is like no phone calls, nothing's coming through. I think if you call twice in 30 seconds or something like that, the phone might think it's an emergency and then it'll go through. So what you do is you go to your focus, set it to you make a new focus mode, call it landline mode or whatever. They say then you turn off all of your alerts except for phone calls, and if you want text messages you can do that. Turn your phone all the way up volume wise so you'll hear the ringer, and then put the phone and leave it in a space in the house like we used to do with landlines, where you could only walk as long as the cord was on your phone.
Like it only works within 4 feet of wherever you've set it.
Right.
Oh, really?
Well, that's the trend.
That's the trend.
So wherever you would have had a phone, if it was by a chair, by a couch or whatever growing up, and maybe you had a 10-foot cable and a cord and you could walk around with it. So leave your phone there. If anybody calls, get your ass up, walk over, answer the phone, take care of business. Leave it there, go back to what you were doing.
And I would hope that if you want to call anyone, you actually have to dial their number all the way through. You can't just pick from your contacts and hit a name. You actually have to dial 619-397.
Don't give your number.
It's not my number.
It is your number.
I'm just throwing a random number.
Stop trying to give your number
I'm
out.
an 858 person.
Radio.
You know me.
That's true.
North County. That would truly make it landline mode.
How many people could you call right now if I told you you cannot use your phone book? You have to.
2, maybe 3,
4.
I could call. Well, I could call my parents' home number. I don't know if they even have a landline anymore, but I remember what it was because it's the same one what it was when I was growing up there.
I got mom, dad, Hannah, my brother. Top of my head.
I got my wife, my mom.
I have one of my children,
and my friend.
I don't even know the other.
My
one.
friend Bauman, I can do. It's 5.
I think my nana, maybe a friend or two.
Yeah.
I couldn't call you guys.
No
call no chance I could call either of you guys.
Do you even know what my area code is?
I wonder what the normal number
Seattle.
is now of how many numbers you actually know.
5. I know 5.
You know 5.
Off
Is that high or low though for people?
Like
in the
pretty
chat,
good.
quickly throw out your number of how many actual phone numbers you could dial if you had to.
So if you went to jail and they're like, you have to make a phone call, but they're not going to give you your phone. Who could you call?
The Barnes firm,
1-800-8-million. Yeah. Call 97.3 The Fan at 833-288-0973.
We can't help you. I don't. I could call the family.
Yeah, I got 5.
Please hope that Scravy answers.
Yeah.
They've got
Hello?
Scravy.
Scravy, I'm in jail.
Scravy, it's Ben. I'm in
I'm in
prison.
prison.
It's the only number I could remember. 833-288-0973.
It's Hamby here running the board. And call Hamby. Hey, dude, can you DM my wife? Tell her that I'm down here, San Diego County Jail. Send somebody. Go down to King Stallman's and bail me out, please.
I could call Corky's Pest Control.
Yeah, GC Kinetics, 100%. 100%.
Call the general.
Somebody said this is why I keep a phone card in my wallet. How much do you get arrested if you have to have a phone card in your wallet? I guess if your phone dies and you're in trouble, then yeah, you need something. That's it.
That's not many though.
1-800-901-1102.
I just
is Corky there? I'm in prison. I need help.
you.
Yeah, it's Ben from Ben and Woods. I just think, Paulie, with this I don't know that this would help me. I just need to have better discipline with it. I just need to put it away. I don't think a mode, unless it shocks me when I pick up the phone. You know what? I'm not going to be on my phone. I'm not going to tweet. I'm not going to be trolling Dodger fans. I'm just going to, unless it literally shocked me.
I think
you're
it's
not
more,
keeping me away from it.
It's more just being away from your phone, physically being away.
Throwing it in a room and walking out is the same effect for me.
I could call Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Yep.
Okay, I could do that. I could call for the time. 800-555-1212.
Oh, it's still the
time? Thing? Yeah. I can't imagine anyone needs to ever call.
Does that
for
work
the
still?
time.
Hang on.
I have no idea.
Right,
do it on the air.
What was it?
Isn't it 1-800-555-1212 or just 555-1212? It should work in any area code, right?
And that's
the time?
Time?
The time, yeah. When at the tone, the time will be. Oh, no, it's gone.
Disconnected.
Well, no one needs that. If you have a phone to call for the time, you already have the time on your phone.
Yeah, I tried 555. All right,
Didn't you have to used to call like for time?
Time and
sometimes?
temperature. Nope, nothing. It's
No?
dead.
Damn.
Too easy to find out now. No one needs it anymore.
Yep.
But there would be like times. There's no clock around, and all you had was like a payphone.
Yeah.
And you call and you need to know what time it is.
And I think it gave temperature too, didn't it?
Might
I
have.
think it was time and temperature, if I'm not mistaken.
We're
At the
calling
tone,
movie
the time will
theaters.
be.
Call movie
Get
theater.
showtimes.
Hello and welcome
Welcome to Movie Phone.
Your show, please select your cinema.
You had to wait for so long for your movie to finally come up, and
It's one
you're
of my
all there waiting
Favorite
and
episodes
waiting.
of Seinfeld of all
That's
time.
brilliant. Brilliant.
Kramer movie phone.
Yeah, so good. So good.
Would you be interested in seeing another movie?
Maybe you just tell me the name of the movie you'd like to see. What's the weekend plans?
Laying low today. I'm building furniture. I've been building a lot of furniture lately.
Nice.
I got some end tables to build today, and then going out with the missus tomorrow night for a date night.
We have a it's a thing. Anytime I travel, I'm put to work severely for like the 48 hours before I go
as you
anywhere.
should be.
So I have a closet to reorganize.
Cleaning, laundry, packing is what my Saturday looks like.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm going to be doing all of that as well. Plus the, hey, you're leaving. And so because you're leaving, here is your punishment. You have no idea what I'm going to be up to this week. I don't even know quite. I'll probably end up scrubbing out the garbage cans, a bunch of stuff that doesn't need to be done. But Hannah's like, you're going to do this before you leave. And so that's what I'll be doing. Whatever honeydews are on the list, just taskmaster.
One of the nice things about your kids getting older is not feeling the guilt of leaving sometimes.
Oh, I feel tremendous guilt.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
As I'm sure Hannah does when she goes
Yeah.
somewhere as well. It's unavoidable knowing you've left someone else with the kids.
Well, and knowing that Bo's not feeling well too. Hopefully he feels better by Sunday. But knowing he's not feeling well too, like, oh man. And what if Taylor gets what he has and I'm gone? I'm in Philly sucking down cheesesteaks with you guys at baseball games and, doing bits on grease poles and things like that. She's like, cool, have a great time. Have a great time away from your family. And that's why she's going to put me to work before I go.
then you'll still, when you come back, feel like,
Get a little buffer, actually.
oh,
They're going to be in Colorado.
oh, okay.
Oh,
You
So
come
I
back to
come
an
back-
empty
come
house.
back to an empty home.
Wow.
First time ever that I will have slept in my own home without anyone there. It's the first time ever.
Really?
Yeah, ever.
I couldn't tell you the last time I slept in my own home without anybody else in it. That's a good point.
It will be the first time it's ever happened. I will come home from the airport. I'll walk into an empty house and I have 1, 2, maybe 3 nights Solo?
I couldn't tell you the last time I was in like a building asleep by myself. Like a
hotel room?
Well, I'm in a hotel
there's
room.
people
but there's
there,
other
yeah.
people that like in your own, like, like
What
alone.
other buildings would you sleep in?
No others, but I'm just meaning like
a barracks. The barracks cleared out. Camp cleared out. I was by myself. Tool shed. Back of a van.
I was trying to eliminate hotel rooms,
Right.
like knowing that other people are there.
It's going to be weird walking in from a trip, being gone for a few days, and they're gone. They're in Colorado with Hannah's mom, and they're going to be hiking and biking and doing all those things. And I'll be sitting at home, weirdly
Digesting
still, enjoying the peace and quiet, of course. But they'll be back next Saturday, so we will reconvene, and then we will be back that Monday. Thank you guys for being here and putting up with us.
We do feel bad for leaving you guys,
We do.
tier ones, for a week.
We do.
Please still love us when we come back.
Yep.
We're very sensitive that way. Enjoy your time, though. Enjoy, hopefully, Braden will carry you through for 4 days while we're gone. It's a short week next week. Enjoy your 4th of July holiday. Be safe out there. Have a nice barbecue or whatever you're going to do. And we will rejoin you on Monday, July 7th.
buddy.
Unless you are on our Gold Stream member YouTube stream. And then we will join you at some point from Philadelphia. Keep an eye out on our social channels for when we will join you from there. Until then, for executive producer Paul Reindl and for Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great week from San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.